Cool. So hello, my name is Kasey, and welcome to Captain Reboot. And I'm hearing myself on an echo, and that's super crazy. Stop that. Uh, and we are playing Tyranny of Dragons, specifically Rise of Tiamat. And the party has done a lot, a lot. And we are approaching the end of the campaign, where they seek to foil the plans of the Cult of Dragons. The Cult of Dragons having actively making the attempt to raise Tiamat from the Hells and bring her back to this realm. To that end, the cult has gathered a considerable, but not all the treasure they wanted, because a intrepid band of heroes took out their flying castle. They have gathered spell components that are required, several dragon masks that they reclaimed from members of the cult. And they have gathered a number of sacrifices, people kidnapped from villages, towns, and hamlets throughout the land, discouraged and foiled at many turn by the party, but still quite a number have gone missing. A large force has gathered in Waterdeep in preparation to set out for the Well of Dragons. Troops have been on the move. Naval vessels have been able to cross a now calmed sea. For the last session, the party dealt with some storm giants that were being blamed, perhaps not for something not entirely their fault, that were causing an upheaval in the sea. The storm giants once slain, the seas quieted, but the party feels that that may not be a related situation. Still, the seas are calm, the armies were able to move, and a gathering was held once more in Waterdeep among the lords, ladies, and dragons of the realm. Thanks are given, gifts exchanged, and as the armies are about to set out, at least the main body in force, the dragons have offered to allow the notable members to ride them to the area surrounding the Well of Dragons.
Wait, what?
Wait, what?
Yes.
Specifically, Nimmer came upon the party at speed in his humanoid dragon form, leapt into the air, and put both Ruqiyo and Talace in a headlock, good-naturedly, sort of hanging off their shoulders, giving them a rug on the head. Hey! It cost me half my horde, but this is going to be awesome. And he has arranged for the current leader of Waterdeep to ride astride Protanther. Eleuthera has offered to take Dawn, as they will be splitting off to do some research in the arcane and mystical. Ali has offered to take on several other members of the nobility, and Nimur and Taz have offered to see to the party's escort. This is to be done with great fanfare and applause, and of course, speechification is going to happen, noting that these dragons are allies, so that no one gets the impression that these are mounts or anything of that sort, and with great fanfare, you expect to set off. Does the party have a preference between the pair, which to go along with?
Nimmer.
Nimmer, okay.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Just in case that needed saying.
I'm just bringing it out there. So that is Ruqiyo and Talace on Nimmer. You could fit probably 3 to 4 people on a dragon. Or if you have other arrangements you'd like to make, as long as it is setting out in a impressive fashion, the nobility certainly wouldn't be against it.
I don't know about riding the dragons. And have Pegasus, Elmar, Like, I don't know, you guys can talk. I don't know, that's weird to me. I can't. I'll be over here. Right next to you. It's fine.
And Elmar's like, yeah, it's weird having them talk out loud to you.
Yeah,
What kind of-
totally.
I mean, telepathy is the only way you should talk, right?
Yeah, but Chloe doesn't do, like, Elmar obviously has to do the telepathy. She says everything to Elmar out loud. Because she, can't not. So occasionally you guys will hear her go, yeah, I know, right? It smells weird. What?
Just
no one was talking?
That's a good thing. So with that, let's flip over to our map of the Sword Coast here, and just kind of remind ourselves where everything is now that we know where we're going. All right. So let's make sure we're on the right layer. Certainly wasn't. Now I am. So we are here we're gonna point with the arrow. We are still not an arrow. There's an arrow. We are here in Waterdeep, having defeated the giants out in the sea. From Waterdeep, we are expecting to fly way, way, way to the south, and way, way, way to the east, to the Well of Dragons, located way down here by Skull Gorge.
Located 120 feet away.
120 feet away. It's 120 feet on the map. This is a huge map, by the way. You gotta like walk across this thing. 1 foot equals several hundred miles. I forget what the scaling is. But the armies have been on the march down the trade way for several weeks now. There has been some trouble with giants that have been delaying them. Now that the fleets are available, of course, fleets are ferrying from Waterdeep down to the Baldur's Gate area and heading across up through El Terrell, Scornooble, and so on. Places that you're somewhat familiar with. In fact, Greenest is just right down here. Only 55 feet away from the Well of Dragons.
It's a hop, skip, and a jump.
Just a hop, skip, and a jump. The Well of Dragons, Recognizance has let you all know, is a caldera of a long-dead volcano. It's not particularly large, but it has a certain air of menace and foreboding about it. Even before the current troubles, it's known as a dragon's graveyard, a place where ancient dragons would go to spend their last few centuries whiling away before they turn to dust and die, leaving behind a great number of bones. The cult took it over some years ago, and now they plan to run their ritual at that location, setting up a boundary several thousand feet from the base. The forces of good have begun to array themselves, trying to cut off supplies, or at least stop more cultists, prisoners, and dragons from joining them. They've been fairly successful to that effect, and as more time passes, more of the forces of good can gather, whereas the forces of evil are pretty much blocked. So the more time that passes, the better the chances become. But at some point, that final ritual will begin, and time will be up. About 20 days or so are estimated between now and when the ritual will begin. Of course, divination has been applied, as well as basic research tactics, the way the moons align and such things. So, you arrive in one of the towns near the Well of Dragons. It has been ruined and ransacked several times over. All of the locals have been taken away. Up in the upper left-hand corner, you arrive astride Dragon and Elmar, and land in an open area. Dragons give you a few moments to disembark, and Elmar says, "You're going to love this. I had the best idea. I sent ahead. We got it all set up for you. It's going to be amazing." And as he's talking, he shrinks down, as does Taz, to their preferred human forms. Taz, a middle-aged, perhaps a little older woman, grayish hair. It used to be sort of a strawberry blonde. Nimr, more of a draconic form, very striking looking with his scales compressed the way they are. Away to the south, you can see that there are 6 or 7 people working about, clearing the area. It looks like they're trying to make it ready for additional troops or perhaps for refugees or the wounded. And the first to recognize that you have arrived and turn and start rushing over towards where you are is a familiar face. And he calls out, "Ah, my constituents! Welcome, welcome!"
Oh God.
Oh God.
Oh God.
Pretty certain I don't apply.
And you do recognize, rushing towards you, Governor Tarball Nighthill. And he greets you. Oh, well, it's wonderful to see how far you've come. And we're, of course, all pitching in. I got my daughter, and he gestures back to where Charity is sort of looking at her around a corner. She's got, dirt on her faces, dirt under her nails. She's obviously been working hard. She sort of looks over and she spots Talace in this, and she's like, "OMG, Talace, you look so good. How much you've changed."
And she's changed a lot because, like, the moment she got off that cloud giant, the storm giant's little island thing, and she leveled up, now she has a permanent otherworldly appearance. Like, she's radiating. I love my glamour bard stuff. Like, it is permanent. She looks like she is ethereal from a different plane of existence altogether.
And while you have elevated yourself, it seems like Charity has grounded herself more. She's got that little bit of extra weight about her that indicates that she has adopted a motherly nature and likely has rugrats scampering around somewhere. But at the moment, she is prepping beyond them 2 additional people that some might recognize. Heather and Zachary Boot are the captains in charge of the area overseeing the troops and deployment in this area. A bit further back, looking like he's doing a lot, but sort of trying to catch his breath, you recognize the red beard, red hair of the dwarf Escobar, working tirelessly to prepare the area.
Valandra will run and give Escobar a hug.
And he's whoa! He gives you. He's like, "Oh, I'm gonna have to put my arms underneath yours now. You've grown a bit."
She's 1 inch taller.
He's shrinking.
It's on my character sheet. I updated it.
He is shrinking actively. He's a fairly old dwarf. They do that. So just like stone, they contract. But it does seem like some of the townsfolk from Greenest have gathered together to make a base for y'all and make some preparations there. Nimr sort of looks down. He's like, "Oh, well, that's actually not what I was talking about, but I guess that's nice. It's just over this way." And he starts leading you away to the east, down the path. Taz coming along as well. Taz is sort of plucking at her shirt like, it's annoying, but she's keeping it on for the moment. You wind your way down and around, and things happen. Boop, more map.
Hey, Kasey, before you go on, can you get my token on the map, please?
Oh, what did I do?
I
You
don't
put
know.
Dawn instead.
Oh, I'm a bad person.
It seems to
here's
be a
my
habit. You'd put the person that we're missing and leave out one of us.
Yeah. I usually try and prep my tokens and then copy paste, and that usually means I'm grabbing from old data.
Yeah.
Get out of there, Dawn. So you wind around. He leads you down a path to the south that bends around some scenic trees and then back up to the north. And he's like, I figured you wouldn't want to cut through all those brambles, so, you should grow some scales.
Well, I'll work on that.
Ends up over there. Ahead, you can see a building. The building has an open door. Coming barreling out of that door is a small kobold. He rushes out to Dusk, gives her a big hug, and then begins dragging her inside the building.
I'm so glad. He's gonna get the biggest hug.
He is frantically hugging at you, but at the same time, he's also trying to pull you inside the building. As you get to the doorway, you can see that he has a fairly sizable pile of shiny stones, and he's sort of tugging you over to it and trying to get you to sit down on top of the shiny pile of stones.
Oh,
You're
so cute.
Made you a horde.
Oh my god!
And
Harry is the sweetest darling.
Namora and Taz don't look thrilled about the kobold, but they sort of just let that one slide. Every few minutes, and you've kind of noticed it as you've been walking with them, they get a little bit of a distant look in their eyes and a little bit of a set clench in the back of their jaws. Harry reacts more vibrantly at those times, his entire body shivering and a rainbow of colors passing through his scale that doesn't look pleasant to him. But he does look fiercer and sturdier shortly after it happens, like he's been hit with a massive jolt of adrenaline. At those times, he looks almost feral and frantic as he gathers stones and presents them to Dusk.
Oh, I need to hug Harry and just pet him and try to calm him down a little. It's okay, buddy. You don't gotta do this. He's so cute, though. I can't get over how sweet he is. He's just gonna be hugged for quite a while.
I don't suppose Nimmer would accept a friendly arm kind of of support during those moments.
A friendly arm of support? I feel like perhaps
it's not an
sort of...
excuse to hold hands.
It's not an excuse to hold hands? Really? Are you sure?
Are you sure?
It seems like it might be.
You should go straight for the booty grab at this point. That's what Talace wants to do.
So Ruqiyo, as you're... Go ahead and give me a persuasion.
Oh.
Or charisma, performance. I'm willing to hear suggestions.
First, Ruqiyo, roll your
Portent.
your portent.
You know I got a 20 of this here.
Also, you get 3 now.
I do. /R 20. One more.
Hey,
I would like to use a 17.
Yeah, use that 17.
What's your persuasion bonus? If you have one.
0.
Okay.
Okay. So your persuasion's a 0?
Oh
There's
yeah.
no way. Not at this level.
No, you've got to have some. Even if you're untrained, you've got to have charisma. You're pretty
I
charismatic.
have an 11 charisma.
11.
Oh.
This is a wizard.
I'm a
Okay.
wizard who's assertive, but I'm not actually trained in how this stuff works. I
Fair
just
enough.
can't shut up.
So you go for the handhold sort of touch thing, and kind of as you're doing it, Namur sort of looks at you, he's like, that's going to be a little hard to do. And as he's doing it, he sort of reaches behind his back, grabs his shirt, and just pulls it up over his head, and starts undressing. Taz is doing the same.
Ow.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Wait, what?
Can I make an insight check here?
You know what? Talace is gonna be there with you because that's what's happening.
So the two dragons are undressing, and they sort of look at you as you do the insight check. He's like, "Oh, this I'm pretty sure this is how it's done. And he looks over at Taz. She's like, I don't understand why they ever wear clothing, but yes, this is appropriate. So he's like, okay, and he continues disrobing. As they're doing so, the door to the east opens, and coming from it, you hear, "Stay a while and glisten." And Kecker Dane, the proprietor of the steam house, gestures you inside. And Nimmer's like, I thought it would be great, a little place to relax before battle.
Oh.
Wait, do we have a spa? What?
You have a spa/steam house.
Do you have any of that tea? Out of that tea.
Look, someone convince her not to start getting undressed because this is a thing.
No, Talais, I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I think Ruqiyo and I are on the same page here.
So Taz and Nimur head into the big steam clouds that are now roiling out, and you can smell in and amongst them scented smokes, the steam itself, and everything there. And as you step inside, perhaps slightly killing the mood, Talace's father is sitting naked on one of the benches inside.
Are you fucking kidding me right now?
What?
What?
Oh my god!
What?
What?
I don't think I stuttered on that one.
Wow. Nope. Talace is just gonna nope right the fuck out of there right now.
This got weird real fast.
Nope, this got weird really fucking fast. I gotta go.
So
I don't know that I'd recognize him from, So,
some of you may have seen his form. Mord, you definitely did. Valandra and Talace have definitely seen his form. Ruqiyo, I believe you have. And as Talace and Valandra are sort of noping out of there...
Ruqiyo wasn't there for the Doom Vault.
Oh, nope. Ruqiyo wasn't there for the Doom Vault. Sorry about that.
That was our other Warlock friend.
Right.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that was Meridia. So as you're sort of noping your way out of there, the laughter that comes from Talace's father is unfortunately the same effeminate laughter that came from him when found in the Doom Vault. The form sheds away, and Pachenska, the succubus, reveals her form.
And she's just like, she hasn't left. She's just like, can you not? Can you fucking not?
Well, dear, that really was the absolute minimum that I could do to see my master's orders fulfilled. He did wish you brought a great deal more discomfort than that.
You're disgusting.
Oh my god.
So...
Wait, was this a joke?
Well,
I think I'm gonna choose not to read that quite right.
More of an inconvenience. I was sent as an emissary when you refused to attend, and this seemed like a comfortable spot. When I heard you coming, well, my masters do want to at least inconvenience you in the polite ways.
There's nothing polite about wearing my dad's shape and being naked in front of me. There's nothing polite about that. Nothing at all.
Modesty.
It's my father, you disgusting tramp.
So these two have
like,
history, you tell me.
What's going on? Who is that?
So on the sound of Talace's voice going up, Joey's gonna poke his head around the first corner, and then once he hears the words "disgusting tramp," he'll be like, "Yeah, everything's going normal," and he'll stay outside.
Oh my god!
I love you, Joey.
I just totally ruined all of Talace's fun. She's gonna start getting dressed now. Like everything that she might have enjoyed about this whole Steam thing, ruined forever.
No. Don't let her win. Don't give her that control. You go in there and show her that she has no pull on you. There's a hot dragon boy who wants you to sit next to him.
Well, my breasts are fantastic these days.
With that said, the steam remains steamy, the tea remains tea, and so on. So you are given the opportunity to relax a bit and cleanse yourselves after the day. Pinchenska and her guest, I suppose, do have signs of being Thayan about them. The woman she's accompanying has the facial and head tattoos and arm tattoos that are common amongst the wizards of Thay. And having such tattoos, you would imagine to be a mage of some sort, though I don't know that you have much experience with the rank and file of Thayan society to know what level they would have. Keckard trundles about, serving teas and refreshments, offering herbs and such things to relax and to heal.
Well, sweet. I mean, if we're all gonna die, we might as well at least have, moisturized face. Of course. There we go.
That's it.
It occurs to me that I suddenly have no idea how a steam melt will actually affect just a giant cat.
I think you'll get kind of damp, steamy.
Yeah.
God, I still
We'll
have
figure out the furries.
Depending
later.
upon
For now,
what
she'll
kind of
relax.
cat you really are inside, it depends on whether or not you'll enjoy it. Some
She's
cats
just-
really like hot baths.
She's just so floofy. It's just
Then
gonna
we'll blow out afterwards.
Like droopy
She'll-
hair.
she'll turn into a giant poof ball afterwards.
Yes, but that's why you brush as you blow, so that it's just all fluffy and silky and,
Good
I'm sure
plan.
Harry would love to help brush her out.
These are and Harry's actually like when Dusk heads over there, Harry's like just starts ferrying treasure over towards wherever Dusk is. Like if this is where
Oh
Dusk
my
wants
goodness.
to be, Harry's gonna surround her in pretty things.
Oh, Harry, you don't have to do that, honey. Oh, you sweetheart.
And sort of as you're saying that, Nimur sort of like looks to Taz, and Taz sort of like looks back, and they sort of like look over at Talace and Falana like, I don't know if it's worth telling her. You know her a little better, but he sort of does. He's reacting as Prothantor sort of bluntly put it, according to his nature. The horn is forcing it upon him. He must gather treasure for their queen, though I've never seen a kobold choose a queen other than their queen before.
Yeah, this is
My.
oblivious to this conversation. She's just like falling
You-
over Harry.
That would be what we would call the power of love.
If not for the thousands of them surrounding the mountain, perhaps we could have the conversation, but I can feel the hatred hit me when it sounds. And you can tell that there is some sort of sound or tone happening, but it's beyond your ability to register, though the Draconic are reacting. Go ahead.
Talace meant Harry and Dusk, not the other one.
Yes, well, so that's where that's going. Sorry, catching up on, okay, that's chatter I don't need to read. So if anybody needs me to read something, call my attention, because I got a lot of things on my screen. Pachenska offers to talk to you. She says, so, about the offer my master sent to meet, you did turn it down. Now that you've seen what you're up against, do you wish to talk again? I can see if...
Is this the demon?
This is the demon. This is the succubus speaking.
Yeah, Talace is just gonna give her double birds.
The double bird.
Well, that at least makes this simple. I guess I just get to watch you all die. So she just sort of stretches her wings out, cracks her back, and settles in.
But I didn't get to compare. No? Okay. Goodbye, other wizards.
These are not wizards that you want to be around, dear. Not even a little bit.
Maybe so, maybe not. So time passes. Nimur and Taz sort of provide you with an overview of the situation, drawing on the floor, detailing maps, that sort of thing. Go ahead.
I see it's something that I need to call attention to.
Uh-huh.
Are people sharing that over on the other side of the room?
Chloe like waggles it over at Ruqiyo, like. I still have that on my character sheet.
So.
Mm-hmm.
A pouch of pipeweed, Kasey, has been on my character sheet since Keckard Dane's creation.
I love it.
Keckard sells good stuff. That's, of course, perfectly legal in whatever state we happen to be broadcasting in, but it's good for whatever it is. And Keckard has a ready supply, should you wish to readdress. And Keckard, he doesn't seem like he's applying much in the way of magic, but dang, this stuff is potent.
Wow, they're just getting high.
Yep, that's true.
I thought you were a paladin.
Hey, no one's ever gotten real angry on pipeweed.
Nobody. Oh wow.
She's trying to.
Kasey, how long did the trip here take?
A day or two.
Okay.
No noticeable amount of time. You were on fast flying dragons.
Okay. Wanted to make sure.
Yep. So sort of like Nimur starts sort of making little mounds and diagrams on the floor. He's like, pretty relaxed, drawing with a stick. Passes the stick back and forth to people. He's like, all right, so sort of what we have done here is we've got places like this around where we were able to make fortifications, and we've been cutting off any dragon flights coming in, repelling the cultists. So they're all basically holed up in the caldera. We haven't really been able to make much of an assault. We've made little forays back and forth. We tend to bang each other up, but then retreat happens and nothing really decisive has done. Likely nothing is going to really change until we make an all-out attack and attempt to breach and intrude. The hope is that while we occupy the dragons in the air and the military meets with the infantry on the ground, you all and several other teams might strike to attempt to eliminate the heart of the issue, Severin, the leader of the cult, and his inner circle. And as he's doing that, he draws the caldera and he draws several entry points, mostly on the north and eastern side. Now, these tunnels are volcanic, but the cults use them over the years, and these seem to be the most often traveled, and we'll take a look at that map in a little bit. We'd like you to pick some, and we'll have others pick others, and first one to the center wins, really. And he sort of like throws a little elbow over at Ruqiyo. What do you think?
Ruqiyo is not taking a sniff of a pipe.
Yeah, Ruqiyo has been partaking.
Yeah, definitely. Looks solid. Looks complete. Shoot.
This is all three of them in character, by the way. Like, you guys are like, so what? How does that sound? And all three of us look up like,
what?
What?
That sounds good. Yeah, that's real good. What you got over there?
No, wait. I need to take a look at what he's drawn and then see if I can put it together with what I was totally paying attention.
So Nimur reaches over, takes the pipe.
30.
Jesus.
Shit. Oh wow. Nat 20 that. Woo!
So Ruqiyo totally looked like he was paying attention the whole time. So the plan seems fairly solid. Dragons to contest the dragons, and it's all basically a distraction to get someone inside.
And then someone being us.
Someone's being teams like you of elite individuals to make the entrance. Namur's like, I'm going to be useless in tunnels like that. Taz is the same. We need our full forms to be effective. And I saw a blue out there that I kind of wanted to knock it down a few pegs. And Taz is like, yeah, I kind of saw black. I wanted to pop in the nose.
Blue?
Oh, there's not just one of each of us.
Well, no, I get that. I promise I get that. But we kept seeing the same exact one over and over again. I'm a little surprised that, they didn't change it up a bit.
Yeah, sometimes we get a little obsessive about things. Taz.
Come now. This is a friendly steam bath.
Well,
on this side of the room. Should we really be talking about this with that thing over there, really?
And that thing's like, and she just flaps her wings, sending like a cold breeze at you.
She's fine with it. Whatever. I mean, I could get really vulgar, but I'm not going to. There might be people listening.
Valandra edges over towards Mord and Kuhloe, kind of interested in what's going on there.
So as you start to indicate that Pachinska and her associate are not welcome, they will take a hike and head off to one of the houses that they've been preparing for themselves, leaving the party with the dragons and Keckard Dane.
I just don't think we should trust them. Even she says it when they're gone. I don't think we should trust them. They're demons. They work for a Thavian wizard. They're going to betray us.
But if they betray us, but we still get to save the world, I guess I didn't know, but it seemed like a personal thing between you guys. I mean, they are Thay, but still.
The guy who was in charge of that demon kidnapped Valandra's mother and has her enslaved.
Oh, that dude.
Yeah, that dude.
Or at least people in his faction.
Okay, those are very different things.
Yeah.
So, Number's like, don't worry about it. By the way, you look good with smoke coming out your mouth.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually very flattering. She's like, I always wanted to be a dragon.
I mean, we can arrange that for you.
I was gonna say, I know polymorph.
I think
you need true polymorph for that.
You gotta be a higher upgrade.
Yeah.
But you can get close. So Namor's like, all right, so it kind of, let me get a hit of that. And so kind of what we got laid out here is basically the situation. We're figuring on, about 10 days before things have to happen. And he's like, oh, blue smoke, cool. And he's just sort of takes a piece, sticks it between his teeth, and sort of and makes a little lightning smash that turns blue in the air.
I mean, he doesn't have to keep trying. I mean, Ruqiyo and Talace are a sure thing here.
He doesn't have an off button, I think. I think it's just constant go time with him. Probably. But in either case, that kind of is the planning session that they sort of lay out for you, kind of an informal way to get you caught up. You then have the opportunity to do some scouting as a couple of days pass. Nice place to relax, normal place to lay out. And is there anything folks would like to do?
Yeah,
There's some fade to blacking happening there that we're just going to assume happens or doesn't happen at player preference.
Yeah, I'm just trying to purchase a large amount of pipe. Kasey, I want to get that dragon high. Like, or something. He's going to light something for sure. Like, something's going to happen there.
So,
You ever seen Pineapple Express? The three-tonged... Anyway. That's what I'm going for. And that's it.
So, Taz isn't really, like, into that whole smoking lifestyle. Namur's like, yeah, whatever. And he's, like, gulping down buckets and buckets of it. And just inhaling it, exhaling it. Seems to be having a great time, but sharp eyes in the group would note that it's probably not having much of an impact on him. Likely it would take something a bit stronger than the medicines of humanoids to throw off a dragon's immune to almost everything system.
Okay. That was Chloe's kind of like, I mean, bonding thing, but also a test, and then she'll start like, so Mord, about those shrooms, like, do they only change colors? And she's like trying to be like, what else could they do possibly with fermenting time? Anyway, and that's what she's kind of interested in. She's like, oh, I didn't know dragons would be immune to this stuff.
He's not.
Drink with them.
He's not immune, but you get the impression that he's letting it, like, he's old enough that he probably has resistance of a legendary sort, so he's sort of letting it go. Like, he's leaning into the curve.
you gotta wanna be.
That, the social high.
Yes. But he's having a great time yucking it up with you all. And eventually, as time passes, other folks stop into the sauna. Among those who stop by, Leosin, followed 11 minutes later after it gets out of his armor by Onthar. And the whole time... Go ahead.
Oh, no, this is fun. I love it. I love that all of the people from Talace's past that she's run into, they all get to see her naked right now. It's like the best thing. And she's never looked so good in her friggin' life. It's like the best time to do it.
Certain accomplishments. So Leosin and Onthar stop by. And they give... Onthar goes to give, like, hugs, and he's like, oh, wait. And he holds up a towel, and then he gives a hug. And so they greet and say hi. We can only stop by for a day, but we definitely want to pay, our respects and give our thanks. Unfortunately, we've got to be off to lead our troops. Don't we, Onthar? Well, I guess I do, yeah. But if there's anything you would like to pass along, they are available, or any suggestions you may wish to give on strategy. There are plans that include...
Valandra would suggest that a couple teams specifically try and release the prisoners. Because as I recall, there were a lot of captives being taken.
There are a lot of captives, and as you kind of bring up that serious topic, like, everybody's like, yeah, heavy. And they sort of like haven't really had the opportunity yet. They've been mostly kept inside the caldera itself. But at the time of the ritual, they will need to be produced, and that's when we'll strike. We'll make every possible effort to save them, but there are thousands of cultists and thousands of captives. We'll certainly do what we can. Actually, there's been a...
Well, to save them and prevent them from being used in the ritual.
Oh, of course. There's actually been sort of an effort in that direction already, and Onthar and Leosin both look super uncomfortable. I guess it's a good thing.
Yes.
Well, you're familiar with the Fae, right? Leosin looks a little like so have you heard of the Bean City or Banshee? Well, there's a story that they're the spirits of parents, in many cases elves, who have lost children. And well, there's been a bit of a rumor that they've been seen crossing the battlefield, the contested land, carrying babes and young children away from the mountain. It's a bit of a, I think it's, I'm not sure what to think of it, but we haven't really had the resources to spare, and whatever it is, it's very quick.
I don't suppose we could just wait out there one night for him. Say like, yo, hey, can we help?
I mean, you're welcome to. We don't really have patrols established for you. Figured it was best to let you sort of do you, show up unexpectedly and destroy things, as you
Need to
do.
work on your image.
And Leosin goes, well, now I did have a great idea that I could let myself be captured, and
No.
then, and yeah.
No.
So
No.
no.
Please don't. It really
Um,
messes up our parties. Like, we really go in different directions. But it really...
Yeah. It's,
So
just stay on the safe side of things.
yes, well,
please.
and I do thank you for helping me that last time, and Onthor, of course, for helping me the time before.
And who the
and-
time before that?
Well,
And the
it
time
was
before that?
yeah, and
One
yes,
before that?
Oh, I think that was High Rider, and
How many times can I say it before you're like, it wasn't that many times?
you notice he's got a little elven blood to him, so it could be quite a few.
Oh god, yes.
But he's a harper. So,
He's a
well,
damsel in
yes.
distress, it's adorable.
Yeah, he's my damsel. And so, that brings, I think, this day to a close. And if the party would like to stake out, they certainly may. Is the party doing a stakeout, and if so, who?
Not tonight.
Not tonight. Ruqiyo's busy.
Hopefully.
Question.
Question.
How difficult would it be to get my hands on a substantial amount of ice?
On a substantial amount of ice?
Like, let's say
Like
like a
Valandra size?
Valandra full. Like a Valandra amount of ice.
Is there a mountain around? You might go to the top of one of the non.
We're super south,
Volcano?
honey. We are super far.
You're pretty south, but
You still go high enough in altitude, you'll find snow.
that's true. There's enough dragons around that one of them can make ice happen for you if the mages can't. So ice can be produced.
Excellent.
Oh, Valandra can make ice from water, actually.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's
cool.
we
Then
can
I
make
have,
snow
water.
cones.
Believe.
I need a Valandra amount of
Okay.
or
A Valandra amount
Snow.
of ice can be produced.
Yep.
like a desk of Cheez-It.
Okay.
But Valandra can make up to 2 5-foot cubes of ice at a time, so I think that would work.
That should work because they'll keep each other. I mean, yeah, 5 foot. You're not that tall. It'll work.
I'm 5'1", I think.
Perfect.
And but you're certainly not that wide, so.
So
Yeah.
like as Talace is like, I need a Valandra amount of ice, Nimur like looks at Talace like, I don't know where this is going, but I'm interested. Go on.
She's gonna. It's gonna take. We're not doing anything today, correct? We're gonna have some time before we start doing the other thing.
We've got about 20 days of
Okay.
things happening.
Since we're not since Talace is probably not gonna be doing any sparring, she's gonna take 12 hours and cast assimilate. And Mord is kind enough to provide her with the rubies that she needs.
Ooh.
And also,
And Valandra, you have to be within 30 feet for that whole 12 hours.
yep. And also, we kind of skipped over doing stuff in Waterdeep, but I believe we bought a little bit of equipment there too.
Sure,
Yes.
no problem.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because we need to outfit our second Valandra.
Okay. Yes, fine, cool, awesome, totally works. Just skimming through and reminding myself. And I think the only thing is it doesn't gain back spell slots. Is that the thing?
Does
And
not
has
gain
half
back
the
spell
thing.
slots. Has to be repaired and can't be healed.
Got it. Okay. There's another Valandra. Valandra 2. The
Also,
Revalandra.
if you could, and it has half the normal hit points. If at some point before the actual battle happens, I could get another character sheet, that would
Sure.
be very helpful.
I enjoy how that Valandra just has the picture backwards.
That's amazing.
Oh, and
Jeez.
it's Valandra.
God
Okay.
damn it.
Balandra! Oh my god, it's Balandra!
It's great. And Talace
No.
will braid her hair a very specific way.
No,
so
Kasey, you
tell
can't do
apart.
that. You just halved Valandra's health.
No, oh,
Oh, I
Yeah,
didn't.
you guys are
I-
sharing,
Oh.
right?
that was me. I didn't realize.
Oh
that
yeah,
that-
no, I didn't make. I just made a copy just as a.
Got it.
I'll get you the full sheet. Yeah, no problem.
Yep.
So Simulacra in play. Anything else on this first day before folks take a nice, uncomplicated rest? Maybe. Day passes, night passes, comes around again to dawn, as it often does.
I mean, that would be
And
weird if it didn't.
I thought he wasn't.
But
Yeah.
Dawn isn't here.
Dawn hasn't arrived yet. It's the day without a dawn. So, next day, more plans are laid, more recognizance comes back, and away you go. Anything that you wish to do that day, or is it just making the stakeout for the evening?
Valandra will work on potion.
Sure.
Does Balandra, is that like
But-
a tabula
but-
rasa thing, or is it like
It's an
what kind
inside
of
joke.
personality?
Chloe will explain
No.
to Mord about it and be like, "Are you? It was a nickname thing, but it is a secret
No,
nickname thing."
I
No,
get that.
we
I
just
get
had a B, so I could call you Board. Want to be Bored for a little while, just to be in on our inside thing? Bored.
no,
It's funny.
that's not.
Because no one will know who you are.
That's not what I'm asking. That's not what I'm asking. So I guess Mord too. Is Balandra like a tabula rasa sort of thing? Like there's no personality, or does it copy Valandra's personality?
Copies the personality too. So it is effectively a
Effectively
Second-
double.
yeah,
Okay.
it's effectively a second Valandra.
It copies the personality but obeys Talace.
Right.
Yeah. Correct.
And it doesn't need like food or anything like that.
Yeah.
Nope, it is a construct.
And some more of the equipment that you've purchased arrives. Carts are coming and going, that sort of thing. As one of those carts rolls through. One of the wagoneers looks over at Balandra, screams, and runs in the other direction.
Fucking god damn it.
Oh, it's all coming full circle. I love it.
Hanging around. And then evening comes, and who's on the stakeout, and what are you doing?
I want to be on the stakeout.
Is it the stakeout of the
How-
spirits thing?
Stakeout the spirits thing.
How sneaky are we trying to be on the stakeout?
Probably pretty sneaky. It's a stakeout.
Mhm.
Sneaky if I'm in the air, right? That's stealthy.
I'm sneaky if I just sit still and let someone else put reeds on top of me or something.
Can I join you in the air, Chloe?
Yeah.
If that's more sneaky.
Yeah, but not both of you. And she's a little creeped out by
No,
both.
but Balandra's gonna stay. Balandra's
Yeah,
Not you.
Balandra is staying behind, safe and sound, because Slayer
but
does not
Balandra is for the final fight.
1,500 gold to get another one.
The most expensive doll you've ever bought. Or made. I don't know.
Is it though?
Isn't it though?
Is it? I don't know.
It is.
It's much less than she's spent on Valandra though, so
Oh no, Valandra has had tons of stuff lavished on her by Talise.
So I mean, Valandra might be the most expensive doll that
Wow.
Talise.
Cold, man.
But it's made of ice.
It doesn't
So
look like it's made of ice.
Um,
It looks just like Valandra
it's made of melted ice.
with slightly less fancy armor.
with
Slightly
slightly
less
less
fancy.
and braids so that
And
you can
braids.
tell them apart.
Yes. Balandra has the braids.
And sometimes she just sits in a chair in a room and doesn't move for long periods of time. It's creepy.
Another creepy doll. There you go.
oh no.
So
This
as
is up to Kasey about riding.
Yeah.
Like
so
Is
two
it-
people can ride a Pegasus.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
So Mord is gonna be casting Commune with Nature pretty much daily.
Okay.
Ooh, good call.
Asking about powerful influences from other planes of existence within 3 miles. Powerful celestials, fae, fiends, elementals, or undead. And then also prevalent plants, minerals, animals, etc.
Or people.
Particularly on the plants.
So like on the
plants and people.
first like 95%, the answer is just yes. On
Yes. Okay.
the spell's just like, are you nuts? Yes, of course, yes. And it gives you just a huge rundown of all sorts of nasty things over in that direction. Plant-wise, the closer you get to the mountain, the more devastated it is. And even kind of looking at it from a distance, you can see that the hordes of kobolds that sort of ring it, occupying the smaller crevices and cracks near the base of the mount, have just eaten everything as far as vegetation, animals, and so on. They've destroyed the area. Higher up, you can see the effects of so many dragons congregating, the influence that they have on nature, bending it to their whim. On one mountain face where several blues are arranged, it is cold and snowy. On another, where several reds are arranged, it is hot. You can see the magma making some of the rocks drip. Where the greens have lined up, there's vegetation springing up and then almost immediately wilting and falling away as the blacks move through, and then the whites, causing their snow. Sorry. Blues causing desert, whites causing snow. All this sort of chaos moving in a weird spiral on the mount as the dragons jockey for position. The eldest of them and the largest occupying the space closest to the top near the rim, and then sort of moving down in size and age towards the base, then the troops, and then the kobolds below. There's probably 40 to maybe 70 of the dragons. They've been trying to get a count,
Oh,
but
boy.
some of them have been hiding intentionally when not posturing. So and illusions have been happening. Also, amongst the Mount Mord, you noticed many elementals, enough to be considered an army unto themselves. Those are harder to see visually, but you can feel the disturbances in the land, where earth, water, and fire elementals rage.
Oh, right, they don't have air. Okay.
They have very few air elementals.
Goodness.
So specifically, I guess you had mentioned a scene entity, or crap, what are they called? Banshee.
Banshees.
Those are Fey, undead,
So,
and so
there
we'd probably be able to place it with commune with nature, right?
you're actually
Or at
picking
least
up
get a
on a
hint.
number of undead.
Okay.
Some in the mountain, some on your side, where spellcasters have raised undead to help you, or depending on which of the undead. And we'll get into some of those armies in just a little bit. But yes, you can sense where there's some detached undead a ways in that direction, likely the haunt of the banshee, or whatever that creature happens to be, and that would be a good place to set up your stakeout.
Can Chloe help Mord with divine? I don't want to click it because I'm interrupting all the roleplay that's going on, but I've never used divine sense. She's so eager to use it and be helpful. Can I
Sure.
sniff it out? Mord, hold
What
on.
is your divine sense distance?
It is only 60 feet. So she's like, hold on. I forget how the dial on this works. Hold on. I can find this. Maybe if I get in the air, it'll smell better or worse up here. I don't know. And she's
Okay.
just kind of trying to get close. Obviously not. Like, trying
So,
to be noticed.
are you doing this during the day or during the night?
She was just trying to assist Mord. So whenever he was going back.
Mord, when were you doing your searching?
It was technically nighttime when
Okay.
when I'd chimed in, so nighttime.
So you start sort of zooming in and turning the stakeout into more of a hunt, but you start heading in the direction, and you can see that there are many small villages, most of which have been razed to the ground, but one has a small building, looks to have been made of stone, fairly sturdy stuff, a little bit larger, so maybe a manor house or something to that effect, but it looks reasonably intact. The roof still has tiles on it. The walls seem upright, and perhaps the reason that it was not discovered is because of how isolated it is out amongst the ruined ground. Now, on the Pegasus, you could be there in 30 seconds to a minute. The folks on the ground might take a little longer to catch up. Are you heading off on your own, or are you waiting for others to catch up, or communicating what's happening?
No, I'm just, as soon as I see that, I'll go back and report to them. She's not going anywhere on her own. She just wanted to be helpful and pointing out a house that maybe doesn't
Sweet.
smell the same to everybody else.
Before we actually go anywhere, could I have gotten enough of a description from what people have been able to see? Granted, it's probably crappy. To try putting the banshee as a scrying target.
Pull up Scry for me if you would.
Boop. Come on, click on it. Do the thing.
Do the thing, Scry.
There we go. Hope that doesn't go 5 times. It's doing it multiple times, isn't it?
First hand, familiar. Likeness or picture, body part, nail. I don't think anyone's gotten a look enough to describe it as anything other than, like a banshee. Like all the descriptions are very. Yes, she looks sort of translucent. She looked like a she. She had a lot of hair. So generic that it's like, describing a horse as a horse. You can't scry the horse.
Uh-huh. Okie dokie. Well, thanks, guys. I hope this is actually a real thing and not a wild goose chase, but worth checking out. The other thing wouldn't be, it'd be more like back in the exact time that we are when we know about the house. I could try Arcane Eye to attempt to scout it without anyone having to go in there. Especially since we know a place and stuff, so.
Good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up a little area here. And there's some open land with a star in the middle, kind of down right from where you are. It is not in the same town. This just happens to be because I'm stealing pieces of this map. But please array yourselves, those who are coming along, whereabouts you might be when things are happening. Just sort of group yourselves up as you might be grouped in that new area.
Ruqiyo, if we're scouting, did you want to cast Telepathic Bond first?
Yes.
Cute.
Where'd I go? My character sheet is too big. This is the second night, right?
This would be the second night, correct?
Okay, perfect.
You're feeling good, you're feeling loose. Your back's never been cracked quite that way before. And so Chloe and Valandra are still airborne, or is everybody on the ground?
I think we're on the ground for now, if this is after we had scouted that.
Okay. So you're all on the ground. Away in the distance, maybe some 40 to 50 feet, is this house from which the aura is emanating. And Chloe, now that you're kind of within 60 feet or so of the house, you're like, yep, I smell undeath.
Real bad over there, guys. That's nothing good's going on over there.
And then, like, as you get a little closer, you're like, no, wait. Fae. Not undeath, Fae. Smells like cookies.
Interesting.
Do I know anything in particular about Fae besides that they're, like, trixies?
Well, do you? I think maybe Arcana, History.
I'm great at both of those. Guy.
I can know things.
Guidance.
Oh God, I'm bad at both. Let's try history. I'm sure that's great.
Ooh, that's pretty
Oh,
good.
let's use hers. Yeah.
That is pretty good.
So the Fae are sort of a realm similar to the negative material energy plane from which undead come, is the Feywild from which Fey things come. Fey things kind of like Elmar, perhaps, or certain other fairies that have been summoned. It is a place with rules different than this plane that is sort of adjacent to it, and denizens occasionally pass back and forth. Some get along, some don't. There are good and evil Fae, unlike certain other realms where they're basically all evil or basically all good. But they're different, decidedly different. Certain elves have more of a Fae affinity to them. Others have less.
Like your bard.
Like the bard. And I don't know if we got too much involved with the bard's patron. With the warlock's patron. But the bard has an affinity with the Feywild, so maybe consult with the bard.
Who didn't come along.
And
Is she part of the telepathic bond, though?
I would hope so.
I would have. Yeah, and
we
so long
can
as
tell
we're all in the
Doctor-
same place when I cast it, right? Do we need to stay
Yeah.
within visual or anything?
You need to stay on the same plane.
We are on the same plane.
I hope so.
Or are we? Yeah.
For now, you are.
Chloe
And-
will communicate. Evil Fae. Just bad Fae.
Bad Fae.
Are we sure about that yet?
What's that?
So as
We're sure that it's evil?
It's fucking stinking up my nose holes, so yeah, it's pretty bad.
as bad Fae, and sort of that feedback happens, you come across the corner of the house where the door is, and you're still a little further back than shown in the picture. But the door starts to open, and as it opens, you can see a hand placed on the frame, and then sort of a creature leaning out, pale white skin, long white hair, translucent look about it, hollow eyes, and sort of a screaming, weeping face. Valandra, a chill runs through you, equal to that, similar to Valandra, as you perhaps faintly remember the look that Linan had when you revisited the house in your childhood.
Well,
Now
shit.
I'm kind of sad I didn't come along. Oh man,
Do we know who that is?
blast from the past, man.
So the Banshee seems to pay no attention to you. She turns the corner of her house and begins moving away towards the mountain.
And she's been spotted bringing people away from the mountain?
She's been spotted carrying babes.
Women, children?
Oh no.
No, not women, babes.
Okay.
Infants, younglings, away from the mountain, back in this direction. And you're still 40 to 50 feet back. I don't think you've done anything to reveal yourselves yet. Is anyone doing anything?
I can keep the arcane eye to follow her, but it won't last probably for the whole there and back. But now that I've seen her, can I maybe try to
Now that you've seen her, you could scry her. You're paying attention enough now that you can recognize this individual over others. She has the look of an elven woman, fairly young. She's got that weeping face and that screaming look that the Banshee adopt.
Do we want to take her out? Also, how far away are we from Talais and the others?
You're at least let's say a half mile.
Yeah,
I think
Talisa
we want more info, guys.
I
mean,
if Dusk is up for it, she's gonna grab Dusk and she's gonna be like, a half mile, we can make that. we're gonna start heading that direction because she gets the
Absolutely.
feeling from all of the stuff that's going on with the mental connection that maybe I shouldn't stay back. Maybe they might need me.
Time to follow.
Do we want to attack or wait and get more information? Try and go into the house?
I want more info. I feel like
Yeah.
there might be more to this than it seems.
Yeah. I think your arcane eye is a good idea. How long does that
Yeah,
last?
how long
It
does that
only
last?
lasts for
It's an hour.
an hour, and I can't. I'm trying to
Yep.
figure out if I can get into a house, but I can't open doors with it.
So the door is still ajar. She did not shut the door behind her.
Oh,
Well, I
Normal
meant the
vision and
arcane
dark
eye
vision to 30
following
feet.
her, but
well, but
Uh,
it'll only last for an hour. So I mean, I could, which means I could at least give people an update within that time.
What's
how
the
far
speed
away
on
is the
that?
mountain?
What's the speed on that arcane eye?
Good point. Good question.
30 feet.
Okay,
Well, no, that's yeah.
she is
well,
going to
that's-
quickly outdistance that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And
yeah,
you can tell
it
just
can
by the
keep
way
going,
she's
it just
moving.
can't go faster.
You can tell just by the way she's rounded the corner, she has a great deal of speed available to her.
I mean, Chloe will bring up that I could take Elmar and we could, silently follow above and see what goes on. But I mean, I'm not
Doctor?
gonna get in there. And I mean, are we gonna get any more information out of that than we already know? Besides her, we know she goes there. She brings kids back here. I want to know what happens. And she turns her nose up at the building in that stinky fucking place. I feel like that's the crux to everything. What the heck goes on in there? What is she doing with those kids? We don't see any kids or anything living around there, right? Like there's no windows, no kids peeping through anything.
No, there are no. The windows are all
She's just
closed and
stuffing them in
covered.
there. What the hell?
She's just stuffing them in.
And so, like, they got the impression, the people who have met Linan, that this looks just like her or very similar to her.
This looks identical. No, only so. Hang on. Valandra's the only one who thinks this looks like Linan.
We're trusting Valandra on this because that's what Talais would do. Yeah, like, so she believes that this is the thing, and if everyone's thinking, well, what could possibly be happening to these kids, that's when Talais's mental connection is going to chime in. She's probably killing them because that's almost what happened to us.
Break up for anyone else besides me.
Yeah.
I think I got killed them.
Yes, she's probably killing them because that's what Linan almost did to us, meaning Talais, Valandra, and Waverly.
Huh. Okay. Well, then I think just to keep things safe, I'll give it a few rounds and then direct my arcane eye to go peek in the house and see if there's a bunch of dead little kids.
Sure.
How
Some
many rounds will it take us to
exposition?
run half a mile?
Like from Talais, can we get like a 2-sentence exposition there? Because Joey's like, what?
You know what? I'm gonna give you some description in the chat so you guys can keep going.
Okay. So some things have started to pass back and forth. At this point, the Banshee though is just streaking across the ground. She almost blurs with speed. You've
That's
rarely
cool.
seen things move this quick. She is akin to a quickling amongst the Fae. But as the arcane eye makes its way inside, you can see, Ruqiyo, that several tarps or sheets or cloths have been hung up to cut across the room. And boy, it would help if the polygon reveal is working with me. Boop, boop, boop. So,
Athy, what's the name of the other?
1 inch in diameter.
What was that, Ash?
What's the name of the Linan's lover?
Cuff.
Thank you.
Oh,
and as you work your way through the door, you see tarps have been hung up, and that's what gives the impression that this building is dark from the outside without looking like the window was blocked. As the eye sort of works its way above, around, between the cloths, it reveals that's not how polygons work at all.
oh no.
It reveals an orc.
Wait, what?
What?
An orc and a turtle sitting together on the ground, surrounded by about a dozen infants.
Wait, a turtle? Is
Yes.
this my turtle friend?
It does
It's our
not look
turtle
like
friend.
Plout.
And have a look here, guys.
Oh, is this our turtle?
Yeah. Yeah, this
Wow.
is not. So this is stuff that happened to certain people in the party when they were young, and this is all Talais's fault. And
I'm
so
confused.
the mental connection, you guys just kind of get the visual of what Talais remembers of that situation, because it's easier than trying to talk in your head. So yeah.
So, as childhood trauma is played back across the telepathic link, the Banshee has sprinted across the ground, streaking towards where, quite a distance away, the mountain resides. But at the speed she's moving, it's likely that she'll cross that distance several times throughout the night. On the ground, inside, the eye reveals that there are several infants laid about. The orc woman moves from one to the next, tending to them, feeding them, as the turtle sort of looks on.
Dead babies don't need to eat.
Dead babies do
So,
not need to eat. That's
I'm gonna point out that this seems to be like I affirm your guys' experience, but that this doesn't seem at first glance to be the same thing. But it could be.
Uh,
So-
Maybe we
No, I
come
mean,
and knock.
if it,
Either
If-
way, Kasey, how long is it going to take me and Dawn to get there? Or Dusk to get
Like 4 minutes.
oh, you can be there within talking time.
there? Cool.
Wait,
I mean, you've got a friendly dragon, so he can just like woof, you're over there.
has Chloe ever heard of Glumfellow having an orc friend of any kind?
Yeah, that's Cuff. That's
So
Cuff.
Cuth.
Okay.
Cuth.
She raised
So
us.
Okay.
Cuth and Linan, way back in Greenest, way back when, Cuth and Linan were an elven woman and a orcish woman who tended to the infants for the orphanage.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then when the children were of a certain age, they were turned over to Glumfellow and forbidden from returning to the house where Linan and Cuth lived. Some people don't listen to being forbade and had experiences.
Okay. So, guys, maybe we should cover y'all up
yeah, it would be good to know, please.
like a seeming or, a hood.
I'm pretty sure any of us over the age of 2 pretty much going to attract that attention. Linan was crazy.
Linan
Well,
did go crazy. Though, you do recall, you had seen Linan out and about in town. It was only when you crossed the threshold of her home that she went absolutely crazy.
Yeah, when
That's
she was
true.
out.
We
yeah, it's
we
true.
did rescue them when the dragon attacked.
True, absolutely. And she seemed normal. She was a normal elven woman at that time.
Well, she didn't
Um,
look at us or acknowledge our presence.
She did not.
And to
Why are
clarify,
they
this
like this?
this was just the Nan, right? Not Kuth that attacked and all that stuff.
Yeah, Cuth
Kuth.
dragged us back to our dormitory, and Talace just kind of just cuts off because you get the feeling that she doesn't want to share this next part. She kind of glances at Valandra because she had words with Cuth.
I
They were not
don't
friendly.
remember.
It's because you were unconscious.
That's
I was not.
fine.
Oh, weren't you? Oh, I thought you were at
I
that
made
point.
both my saves.
Oh, that's
She made
right.
both her saves, but you said that we woke up when they were dropping us off, and that's when Cuth basically was like,
Right. Oh fuck.
she said the thing that she said that basically kind of motivated Talace for the next several years.
Valandra would say it, but I don't remember exactly what it was.
I remember, she's just not sharing.
So, like, are you just saying that it's like just Mord and I should go and talk and see what's going on here?
Chloe's not gonna not go. Like if she's like, I don't understand what the
We
big
can-
deal is. Say she's gonna go.
All right.
We
Yeah,
can
Mord will
go.
go.
Someone should keep a watch out for Linan coming back, though.
So keep it to a short visit. Elmar?
Elmar is eagle-eyed with horse eyes.
Ruqiyo can just leave the arcane eye out a ways, right?
Yes.
Like-
Doesn't some people have some familiars that could do that job?
Erie will keep watch.
Eerie, so, Eerie, Elmar, and the Arcane Eye are on the case, acting as spotters for the return of Linan. And then who's first through the door?
I believe we're going to be polite about this and knock and wait outside the door. Because that's what polite people do when they come to someone else's house. They don't just barge in and make people defensive about babies.
Babies.
Valandra will knock.
So Valandra walks up and knocks. And then there's like a heartbeat, 2,
Hello.
3, and then you're come in.
You kind of raise my eyebrow, saying, "Does that sound like a?"
Yes, we know that guy.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just how he be.
Yeah, it takes him a while to get through anything.
So you do step inside. Inside, push back the curtain that's been rigged up. You can see Cuth and Glumfellow, looking a year or two older each. And then several infants laid about. The infants aren't being coddled, I guess would be the better word. They're just laid on a thing. If they're squirming, they're squirming. If they start to make noise, Cuth reaches over and flicks them until they stop. And you know that builds sturdy kids. Look what happened to you. But that's what's happening. Glumfellow looks between you all. You've grown.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
I mean, I sure would hope we've grown.
Okay.
Hi, Glumfellow. And even if he's generally just been more detached, she's still gonna go hug him hello.
And as you go hug him hello, he sort of just brings this hand paw foot thing around and pats you on the top of the head. And you know, they're babies, so you're sort of stepping over babies to get to him.
Are
Very
they just on the
carefully.
floor?
They're on the floor on like a little square of like leather cloth, like sort of bedding.
It's what they got.
It's a combination
a-
of what they got and what they do.
Like a burlap sack.
Yeah, like a burlap sack. Like the weak are gonna die, but the strong will live. And you know that they raised a lot of orphans.
Yeah, but now Talise is wondering how many of them died before they got past this part.
Yeah, that's a number that's not tracked, is it?
There's no
Oh,
OSHA
boy.
here. No
Oh,
special
boy.
services.
You're not really a person until you made it to your second birthday.
These are all things that sort of come
Okay.
racing back as you're like, we got lucky, huh? But
Did we though?
Maybe
Did
that's
you?
why you're all not human. Maybe all the human babies died because they're weak of constitution.
Woof.
Wow.
Oh, what a theory!
As the person with the lowest constitution of the orphans present, like, I don't think that's true.
So as you've all sort of now gotten over the initial and are looking about, you can see that there are several sets of weapons and gear lined up against the back wall, and they all look of the throat slitty variety.
That's a lot of weaponry you got for dealing with a bunch of babies. What,
Or people coming for the babies.
Glumfellow sort of turns and look back, and then he turns and looks at you all. He says, "You chose a different path."
Goodness. Really? Are we the first person to just knock and ask nicely?
No,
They follow Shar.
they follow Shar.
I just said that a lot faster.
Oh my goodness. The tension.
Googling Shar.
She's evil.
Sorry. So Shar, of the two primary goddesses, Shar and Saloon, light and darkness, sometimes considered good and evil. Shar is the goddess of loss and darkness. Generally, her worship is forbidden in most places. Polite society frowns upon it. But in certain rural areas, there may be a priest or priestess of Shar. Generally, they get the good side of their reputation, helping people get over and forget tragedies of the past, and in the case of Glumfellow here, helping deal with unwanted burdens.
Ooh.
You know,
The-
orphans.
The orphanage we're all from is called the Warren of Unwanted Burden.
So,
I want y'all. So
Oh,
anyway,
Dusk. Ooh. I don't know if now's the time, but Dusk has a question. So,
is that
where-
question? Go ahead.
oh, okay. So the thing is, way back when,
Mhm.
at the beginning of their adventures, Glumfellow gave them all a locket,
he did.
and Dusk still has hers. And she still doesn't really know what the heck it's supposed to be.
A memento to remember him back?
She's not entirely sure, considering everything that's happened, also everything she's seeing now, and everything, like, looking back on things in retrospect. And the fact that it was called a locket of stolen life makes her now uneasy, to say the least.
To make sure you'd live, right? That's how that goes.
I don't
Few extra
know.
hit points.
Maybe. But still,
From
she
dead
wants.
baby.
I don't like that. She wants to ask where these came from, what they are, and where on earth are they getting all these babies? Oh my god.
So, do you ask it?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. So as you start to just like blah through the question, Glumflow's like, the babies were lost, and we recovered them. They are ours now. And you recall, those of you raised in the orphanage, that Glumfellow and many of the other orphans, in fact some of you, were of the opinion that if you took something, it was yours now. And
Oh boy.
this is the Shar recruitment drive. Now, he does seem to be taking them from being slaughtered as sacrifices. So maybe that's not as bad as just stealing them out of cradles. But
is that how he's acquiring them?
that is that seems to be how he's acquiring them, or at least Linan is. She's going over to where the captives are and then bringing back, a baby at a time.
Question about the divine sense, like the evil
Mhm.
that I'm getting, did that leave when we saw, Mr. Faststep, does Faststep leave the place? Like, did that smell go with them, or did it...
So the Fey smell and a portion of the undeath went with her. And there's still an aura of undeath here.
I mean, but that aura could just be like if they happen to be not fully alive.
Or it could be that back room that's not uncovered yet.
Well,
Or it could
with-
be the back.
with-
Oh my god.
with
There's gonna
divine
be a bunch of
sense,
zombie
you
babies.
know the location.
Yeah.
And you knew it was this house, and you're now in the house, and you don't see the undead, so probably might need to open a door.
So it's not
Oh
like a
god.
Marco Polo kind of
god.
smell thing, right?
It would be if you activate it again, you could ping once more.
Yeah, I'm
And,
pinging.
and I'll tell you it's behind the door.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like that hint was kind of
I've
there.
only got 4 of these and things that I've never used, Kasey. So
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, there's this definitive sense of undeath behind that door.
I mean, she'll wait for Dusk to finish asking her question, but she's basically gonna be like, "What's back there, Glumfellow? Like, I ain't got time for this." and I have even less because you're gonna
Very
take forever
smelly's
to
back
answer.
there.
And
Hey,
Glumfellow.
it's
Good.
poor turtle.
Glumfellow's like, "Huh, huh, huh." Older orphans.
Oh no.
What?
Where's John when you need him?
That's not what I'm sensing, Glumfellow. And she kind of like, I don't know, was Glumfellow like grandpa-ish vibe to her, but is just like, you're fibbing, you're beating around the bush there, Glumfellow. Older, but it doesn't smell good.
And as you start doing that, he stands up, and he stands up in like the I'm gonna show off how Oogway I am. Like he puts one hand down and then just lifts himself on that one hand and sort of cartwheels over till he's standing. He picks up his little bent stick that looks sort of like a hoe and sort of like a beaten utensil, and goes over and opens the door and gestures for you to look inside.
Yeah.
I think Mord's gonna go over there too.
Which door? North door?
Sure, north door. And
whichever one, you're gonna die.
Nope.
No. So that's gonna open up, and inside you see things. Come on, select.
Uses.
So you see several undead, semi-translucent, but they are wearing armor. They are wearing knives, and you can see sort of a darker purple on black emblem of Shar. And as you look at them closely, you recognize some of the orphans that you had grown up with. These are one of the older classes.
So they died of regular causes and then were, requested back into service? Or
Talise is like right next to Ruqiyo.
Yeah, I think-
She just reaches out and goes, "Boy, you look at the world through rose-colored glasses, sweetheart."
And as you sort of
all right.
Wait, so are these obviously kids, like turned into undead?
they are
Teenagers
in the
or older.
young teenage realm, probably in the 16 to 20 tops, and they're very healthy, capable-looking creatures that happen to be undead. So the picture there isn't quite accurate. And you recognize them. And at one point I asked for names, but I don't think I ever got them. But we'll just say Calliope, Erato, Melampomwe, and Uturper.
Oh god, it's Melpomene and
Melpomene.
Uturpe.
Sorry about that.
Oh, God.
So,
I'm
because
sorry.
nobody gave me a name.
I'm a Greek mythology fanatic,
I
and
appreciate that.
you just butchered it all to hell, and it hurts my
I
soul.
butcher everything. Because I forgot what I wrote.
At least they're
however
more than
long ago
just
I wrote
vowels.
these. Yes, they are more than vowels. But you recognize older classmates, folks that you had taken lessons from before they had graduated to this state.
Like, Mord, you're next to Chloe. You can feel her start shaking and clenching her fist. What did you do?
Yeah,
Not to Mord,
Volandra's
sorry.
crying, just silently.
baby.
But
Yeah. Man, I think Mord has to go into a rage here.
Dude, but guys, babies, if you rage, you will step on the babies.
Yeah,
I
the
don't
thing
think it's a
about rage is you don't really.
Really get to choose.
I think it's a question about what Glumfellow did to them. I think it's a question about what they didn't do. Or it might be. Joey's kind of like thinking to himself out loud, which I guess would be out loud to everybody as a telepathic bond.
So, as you are thinking options, these do not look like created undead. These do not look like someone was killed and reanimated. and this doesn't even look like lichdom or anything like that. This looks more like a choice. This looks like a akin, if vampirism is a choice, akin to a self-willed vampire.
Oh, so are they cognitive?
They're sleeping at the moment.
Oh, hey guys. I guess I should actually have made my way sort of over. Wakey, wakey. Like, cause they're not
10
dead
more
yet.
minutes.
Like, they're not zombies, right?
Yeah, they're like, yeah, just give us 10 more minutes.
See? No
Come
harm,
on,
no foul.
it's barely past dark. Oh, what do you want?
You have some
Oh.
guests?
Valandra. Come on, I was getting some sleep. And he's sort of like sat up and holding his eyes open, looking over at you.
What
See? No.
the fuck?
Valandra is
Oh, hey,
just
Kuhloe.
wide-eyed, shock, tears still on her face.
Don't talk to her. Don't talk to her. What the fuck are you? What have you done to
Just
yourself?
rude.
What has he done to you?
Oh no, it's fine. It's good.
Yeah, my
Helpful.
nose is saying different.
Keeps your feet light.
What? Why? She's just like going through the question W's.
And he's like, oh no, it's great. I came back and I was like, what can I do to make myself more powerful? And I mean, this was it. You should see what I can do now.
This is this is still detecting as evil. Like these guys are the source of it, correct?
So I don't know that it's not evil, but it is decidedly undeath.
So, I mean, at that point, do I try to break the ice by, like, introducing myself and, like, shaking hands and...
I mean, that would be super cute, but I don't recommend it.
I mean, Mord is raging,
that's what I'm gonna
Chloe's
try to do.
super pissed,
I mean,
and Valandra's
I'm
crying.
attempting to
That
stop
sounds in
Mord if
character.
possible, if at all, and still in that sort of kind of Ruqiyo, casual way. If I'm standing here, hopefully Mord won't go through me.
Okay.
And just diffusing it, since clearly there were assumptions, and those assumptions clearly seem to be wrong, and we're just gathering info here, guys. People make life choices. We don't have to approve of them.
So
Speak for yourself.
So he sort of swings himself out of bed, stands up, and he happens to be a boy. The one to the left happens to be a girl. He stands up and he looks amazing. Like he's human, and every inch of him is carved, like bang, perfect. And he gives a little
But
stretch.
is he, dragon? I mean,
No. He's human looking. He's human looking. But like if you were to idealize a human form, at least this particular person's ideal human form, like he hit it on the nose. He kind of gets out and he just stretches, heads over, like, hey, how you doing? Nice to meet you.
nice to meet you.
And he shakes your hand, and you can see that he looks 100% solid and real in the dark. But as his hand extends and kind of breaks the plane of light that's coming in through the open door from where everyone else is standing, there's kind of a ghostly translucence to him. Feels solid when he shakes your hand. He's like, cool, right?
Yeah, super.
Yeah. Check
I'd
this out.
really like to.
Check this out. And he goes to shake your hand again.
Nada.
And when you go to shake his hand, it just right through. He's like, yeah.
Sweet. Oh God, can I please make an Arcana check here? Like, I just need to nerd out about this.
Sure.
I mean, it's not my area of specialty, but you gotta admit that this is really cool.
And so you're like, what? And there's a school of magic that deals with something called a shadow weave, and it is the antithesis of the weave, which is the source of all magic. And knowledge of it is absolutely 100% forbidden, and frequently followers of Shar will murder you for even thinking you know about it. But you're like, this is probably has to do with that.
Let's not name it then.
Yeah.
since I'm not part of the club, and just be like, that is super cool, and just do my best to diffuse the situation.
So yeah, we get a lot of work actually. The four of us, we do assassinations mostly, occasionally a little B&E, but it's been good. It's been good. Done a lot of good, Chloe. Done a lot of good. Took out a lot of bad people.
What? She it's like she still can barely form. What good have you done in who or what's name and for what purpose? Because there's a lot of nuances to doing to being an undead thing, doing stuff for other things that made you that like there's a lot of threads that could be bad here. And it all starts with stealing babies out in this other room, so it's not off to a great start.
Okay,
And as that conversation happening, Mord's kind of like rage, angry, stamping out, and you just see Glumfellow like hockey pucking babies out of the way so he doesn't step on a baby.
Thank you, Glumfellow.
Okay, when he
I
says
mean,
hockey
Mord-
pucking, he's like kicking baby. Why are you saying thank you?
I'm saying a kicked baby is better than a dead baby.
Well, no, when he says hockey
Okay.
puck, he takes his staff and he puts the staff down and just sort of like shuffles babies off to either side, but they definitely like skitter a bit.
That comment, Ruqiyo, is exactly what Chloe's problem is right now. Is kicking babies the lesser of the evils? Like how
Yes.
lesser are we looking here? What's the
Oh my
are we
God.
lowering the
What
bar
is
that
your
low?
alignment? Oh my god!
Yeah, kicking is better than dead. And
So-
No, it's not. They're both bad.
but there's definite levels of bad, because at least a kicked baby can be
Do I
All right,
just start
who
quoting the
invited
Witcher?
all 5 of the good dragons to have a moral debate within our party? I feel like we had this.
The conversation is many angles of the conversation going on at this point. Yeah, it's great, and I mean, we're in the service of Shar. Hello, come on, Chloe, catch up. And we do a lot of good. I mean, there's a lot of bad people out there, a lot of people dabbling in stuff they shouldn't. I mean, Chloe, I heard there's a mage you'd like dead.
Why
Huh?
are you doing this though?
Money, power, it's the right thing to do.
In that
So-
order, Chloe. Exactly in that order. That's
I
not
really
necessarily
can't
a bad
argue with
thing.
that. I take it that's a conversation that Joey and Chloe have had often.
I don't know about particularly that often, but Joey's line of thought probably goes like this. We were able to make something of ourselves on our own, and these orphans were not able to make something of their own. So they chose to, make a dedicated choice.
They chose to be evil? They chose to be undead. She's like trying to finish Joey's sentences before he's able to.
They chose to make an impact, and if their impact right now just so happens to be undermining cult efforts and getting enemies of all living beings on this plane that don't want to see Tiamat out of the way, don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
I was gonna
And-
say, when you look at this person, like, this person who's just introduced himself to me, and like, I feel like right now you are seeing that he's undead. You are not seeing this person, and like, that's you, but he
Kind of like
seems to
as
still be a person.
Yeah, kind of like as that conversation is going to the south, 2 women, same style, where when the light hits them, they pick up a little translucency, sort of lean their heads out and look down, look around to y'all. Hey, Tillis, you look good. Oh, Doc, your hair grew back. That's amazing. And then they sort of like pull their heads back in.
I mean, Joey's gonna like kind of continue on the back end. I mean, I don't agree with how it was done. They shouldn't be undead. They shouldn't avoid the natural life cycle of things. They're really fucking up things around here. But right now, for the next 2 weeks, not murdering them might be the best choice.
we're not entirely undead.
Undead.
See?
Uh,
I think
That's-
shit needs to be explained, and I
Ruqiyo,
think it needs to be
I'm being
explained really fast.
sarcastic. Don't use me as an example
well.
of a point.
So they're like, all right, I this is not exactly the time and place for these sort of, philosophical debates. We're doing good work here. Look, he kind of gestures out to where the babies are. Look at all the babies we saved.
He just
And you know
kicked
what?
like 12 babies.
He does that. Come, we're fine. Look how strong you are. And like you remember a lot of nights sitting out in the mud and, it's rough.
As far as Chloe's concerned, like undeath, like that, if it was the choice between undeath or, what she is now, like, or just regular death, like she would absolutely have died, like 100%. So she can't understand why they would want to come back like this. Like this is a half-life. It's a whatever good you do is tainted by such not evil, but just bad.
abnatural.
Look, I don't think I'm going to be able to change your mind on it. I'm sorry. But, we all got to do our thing.
Can I just get clarification that these kids are indeed coming from the caldera and not like some loving home 2 houses down?
Oh, yeah. No, the cult, there's nothing for miles around except cultists and captives. And the armies, but there's no
Just gonna
babies in the
make
armies.
Sure about that.
Oh, yeah. And you know that from the layouts that have been done. This whole area was devastated. And the only thing here left is, unless there was somebody hiding super well, the captives of the cultists, and then the armies that have just arrived.
Oh, I don't suppose we could like all of the kids you said were like infants, right?
Yes,
Like,
all the ones here are, a year and younger.
I don't suppose we could convince you guys to, extend your efforts to more children. This is probably not a popular option, but
Linan's kind of hung up on babies.
are like
So
2-year-olds still babies? They're still chubby. They're still spitting and pooping and stuff.
he's kind of like rubbing the back. It's like she's a little less of a thinker when she's in full form. So we kind of let her do her thing. She goes and gets the babies and brings them back, and she is super quick.
Do you remember the story just a few minutes ago of her trying to kill us?
Yeah, we should be gone before she comes back.
No, I'm saying that's what you're fighting against when you're trying to say do older kids.
Yeah, legit. Don't suppose she could help us get in there.
You're a little big.
Yeah, I know.
So the further we go in one direction, and he sort of like passes his hand through a wall, the less of us there is. And you can't get back what you lost. So we try not to go too far.
That seems like a good idea.
Sounds like a great afterlife choice. You get to stay in one spot forever. That's swell.
Well, no, I don't know that.
I think it's the amount of
physically.
physicality they have to them.
And he's sort of like, yeah, I'm not gonna like that's probably more detail than we need to get into. But yeah, so she went all out a few times, and the little bit of her that's left, I mean, she lost a lot. So it's kind of why she is that way. But we haven't lost that much.
Cool. Yeah, definitely. Well, I suppose we could just coordinate to make sure that we don't cross paths with Leanne on whatever night we end up doing our thing.
Oh, you should be fine. I don't think she'll even know you're there. She only really has a problem with babies. And you can't go back in the house.
Someone did tell me there was a rule about that.
Yeah. You don't do that. I mean, who'd be dumb enough to do that?
Uh-oh, there's typing going on.
Okay.
Okay, it disappeared. Well, okay. So I guess this is kind of like temporary orphanage outbuilding?
Yeah, I mean, basically the Dark Cloak's like old Glumfellow there. This is sort of what he does. When there's a battle, when there's things that get lost, he makes sure they have a place.
Okay. I think probably at this point we should probably get out of your hair. Less people have things that they don't want to do, things that they can't take back accidentally.
Chloe's gonna go over to Glumfellow and say, there was a time growing up that I looked up to you, that I thought the work you were doing, taking care of kids that no one else wanted, that it was something to be admired, someone to kind of a strong moral back, regardless of my questions that I had about your religious beliefs and whatnot. But we always saw, we came to each other's eye level on certain things. But what I've seen here, what you're allowing, this isn't taking what was lost. This isn't claiming something that was lost as your own. This is this spits on everything that life can be, everything that could be found good in life. You're just putting these people back in giving them the option of undeath. That's just laughing in the face of everything that's alive right now, and I can't and won't be a part of it. I don't want anything to do with you, with the orphanage, and I'm ashamed to say that I came from there. The only good thing that came from there is the fact that I found my family. We somehow escaped this kind of life, even though this is where we started from. Those people that I have that are my family are the only good thing to have come out of this. And she just is storms off, like, outside to Elmar to go find Mord. And
yeah, you'll see Mord is like hacking at a tree, and it's like parts of it are blown to pieces, parts of it are singed, and parts of it are just looking super blighted.
And then, like, as Chloe's leaving, Joey will just stop by Glumfellow and just be like, what you lose, you can get it back, but it's never the same. It's never really yours again. Take care.
Glumfellow just sort of nods slowly to that.
And he rolls on out of there.
Wow. Well, it was nice meeting you guys. Hope you have a nice night. Nice to meet you, Mr. Glumfellow. Miss Orc Lady. Sorry about that.
And Ruqiyo, like, as you're getting ready to leave, the turtle slowly raises up, one clawed finger and sort of holds it up in the air. And then he turns his whole body around, but the finger stays up, and he reaches out and he grabs something, pulls it back over, slowly passes it over to you, and it's a little folded up piece of parchment. Have you considered Shar as your one true?
Wow.
Wow.
Oh,
Them
the
Shar
best.
tracks.
Wow.
Still at a bit of a loss. I will. I'll take that under consideration, and if I have further questions about my chosen faith, I'll know where to look.
And as you're looking around at a bit of a loss, Glumfellow's like, she's the goddess of that.
Oh God.
Damn it.
Oh my god.
See,
You guys,
Shar,
Oh.
invite Shar into your life. As you duck out, that leaves, I think, Talace and Dusk.
Yeah, Dusk is still so. She's just really fixated on this locket. She just wants to know what it
And-
is.
And as you're sort of fixating on it, Glumfellow sort of looks over at you and looks over at the lock. He says, "That is the life that was taken from you. It is what you lost." And it's been a heck of a journey, and you've been studying the locket and the imagery and kind of the overlay, and the others have done much the same. And in some of the lockets, it seemed to indicate Valandra's and Talace's had some interplay involving Valandra's mother, the contract, the Red Wizards. Yours are primarily pictures of what look to be jungle, what look to be other cats, slightly different structure, slightly different facial features. And unfortunately, you just haven't done anything to help you parse that information. It's still, and you know that your family came from a far distant land, and perhaps more experiences in that land might unlock some of the mysteries there. But unfortunately, not much has revealed itself to you in there as to what the life you might have had was. You see, a reference to your sibling, reference to what could be your parents and family, but what one cat face compared to another is, you can tell that they're different, but don't know who to relate them to.
And Dusk mostly wants to know how he makes these, or how do these come to be?
Shar sees everything that happens in darkness. And that is one of the things that is ascribed to the goddess. Anything that happens in the dark, she is purview to.
Interesting. Okay.
And Glumfellow slowly reaches out and puts a hand on your fluffy shoulder. Even the darkness of a soul.
Oh. That is something that warrants thinking about. Dusk is going to be very curious about this going forward.
Okay, fair enough. So Dusk, anything else?
I think that what she's probably going to do is very carefully set all the babies back where they should be on their proper little mats so that they're not still shuffled about like hockey pucks. And just like try to be nicer to the babies, please. And with that, she probably has to head out as well.
Sure.
She's thinking about this too much is going to distress her more.
Fair enough. As you shuffle your way out, I think Talace, that may leave you last in the building.
It does leave me last in the building. And
technically, I'm hovering like a mother hen.
Okay.
it's fine. It's fine. She's kind of she kind of wanted to wait for her siblings to exit before she said anything.
Legit.
Because this moment, she kind of stares directly at Cuth because Cuth's the one that really sort of carved the determination into her by her cruelty. And she just kind of, like, you know, if you care about the things in your life, even if you don't have them with you, you never lose them. They're always with you. They might grow, they might change, they might find their own paths. But if you truly cared, you'd never lose it. Not once. I found myself. I found my family. And your stupid bitch goddess is never gonna take that from me. And then she's gonna leave.
All right.
So as you head out, Cuth was paying attention, but she does not respond more than to just simply set one child down and pick the other one up to feed it. Off in the distance, you can see Linan is on the return at this point,
Time to go.
but still far enough away that no particular haste needed to leave. And with that, I think the party moves away.
Yeah, Talais is like, if we don't go, I'm gonna kill her.
All right, then we should go.
Just
We might
flat
want to
out.
let the people, like the Green Village people who like hosted the spa for us or whatever, like once this is all like over and done, and they're like,
this is ending. This is ending. But one trauma at a time.
okay, yeah, I was just gonna be like, if there's people that survived that caldera and they're looking for their kids, I think I can recommend a good orphanage to adopt kids you totally have never seen before from.
That's fair. The orphanage is in Greenest, and the orphans of Greenest do mingle with the normal populace, so they're very familiar with what happens, what comes of the warren of unwarranted burdens. But we can see where that heads from there. So the rest of the evening passes more or less uneventfully. On the following day, anyone doing anything of note?
So much silence.
Excellent.
Look, I'm
That was-
holding
that
back.
was-
I'm holding back a bad pun. So someone else say something.
All right. So
Anyway.
yeah. We'll move along. So
Sorry, Kasey, I was muted.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Hold. Sorry, volume's effing up here. All right. Mord was looking for some plans.
Okay.
Just looking.
I missed it if it scrolled by. What are we looking for in particular?
Something that would increase the potency of things that it's mixed in.
Increase the potency of things that is mixed in. That's probably usually going to be more distilling than finding another plant. But perhaps to boost the intoxicating effects of things.
Potentially. Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Go ahead and give me a herbalism check.
Herbalism. Okay.
Do you have an herbalist kit?
No. Can I use survival?
Survival or perception, either one would work.
I will use. Yes. And I'm not making this add advantage.
Okay. So you start scouting about. This area is pretty well blasted. but you do find a few things that may be helpful for different concoctions and such. As you're sort of snuffling about, though, the thing that keeps sort of calling you back to it is there's dragons about, and dragon blood, dragon tears, dragon scales. They're all fine reagents for many things, depending on what you're looking to accomplish.
Okay, well, I mean, maybe you just change that to like a scavenging in the area for things that I think would be useful.
Sure. So you do gather some things. What are you attempting to make, if anything, at the moment?
Well, Chloe's idea of getting the dragons high a la Pineapple Express is entertaining, and
Okay.
and that is interesting. But just finding like, I guess my thought process is that this is an area where there's a lot of magic going on, and while things closer to the well are maybe have too high of a toxicity, generally plants may be able to thrive on the fringes that have concentrated doses of the magic in the area, and finding just something that might be useful or unique in some way. And it doesn't even have to be mechanically, just things that are unique uh, for other reasons, I guess, would be what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Potential uses being, making something a la Pineapple Express, or increasing the potency of some potions, or just finding materials that can be used as reagents for spells or otherwise.
So as you're sort of, looking about, searching, etc., Taz actually sort of starts trailing along behind you, kind of looking over your shoulder at what you're doing, and she's like, what are you up to?
You're scouting around, looking to find some. I don't even know. I don't know what I'm looking for, but I'm looking for something interesting.
Huh. I mean, that does pretty much encapsulate the dwarven condition. But is there anything more specific you can offer? I do run a bit of a shop and carry a little bit of stock with me.
A shop?
Oh, yes.
On
My
your
sister and I.
person? Ah, okay.
Well, I have a shop, and I keep stock accessible to me.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I'm just doing this to, I don't know, kill time and be out of buildings. I mean, for other reasons, or among other reasons, but I don't know. I don't have anything I'm specifically looking for.
Well, if you happen to find what you're not looking for, let me know and we'll celebrate your good luck. And she sort of blinks at you a few times and, yeah, that sounds like a thing a human would say. And then she turns and, heads back in. Now, the two dragons have been doing patrols and such things, only relaxing when they're, taking a break between it, as they are fairly sizable weapons of mass destruction when they choose to be. But at the moment, they seem to be keeping an eye and maintaining this town where one of the strike forces is staying. You do scrounge up several things you think might help, but you would need the assistance of someone to herbalize / mix them up if you wish to. Or you can just chuck them in a pot and see how it goes.
Yep, no, that's perfect. I'll take them to other people to identify. I'm just trying to pick up the
Sure.
useful things.
Absolutely. You do manage to pick up several useful things. I don't have my herbalism chart on me to say which useful things they are, so we'll just say several useful things.
Perfect.
And with that, anything else during this day?
Valandra's gonna be still kind of affected by the last night, and I think she's gonna ask Joey if he wants to bar.
ask Joe if he wants to spar.
Yeah.
Okay. Joey? No, Joey. You?
He just stepped away, but
Okay.
I am getting a hold on.
Okay. So, we'll find out about that one in a moment. In the meantime, we'll do.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Sorry.
Joey comes running back in, lacing up his points.
So just like back in the old days?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What is the old days sparring entail?
I'm sure it involves running around like little children and hitting each other with small sticks.
That seems like
that
what
would
I'm
be back in the
imagining.
old day.
I
think the sticks might have gotten a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But I imagine the franticness has probably not gotten any less.
Okay.
That feels accurate.
So as that's underway, and some martial working out of emotions with therapy sticks happens. There is a bit of a disturbance off towards the mountains. One of the attack, counterattack combinations seems to have gotten away from itself, and a small horde of 20 to 30 kobolds is rampaging in your direction. You can see forces from the military are moving to pursue, but it looks like they got the leg on them, and the kobolds will be upon you within the next 15 to 20 minutes or so if they keep on the way they are. What all would you like to do?
Do you want to go out and meet them so they don't quite get to the town where all these other people are?
Yeah, I mean, Mord's just gonna go out there.
Sure. So Mord heads out there. Valandra heads out there. Anybody else going along? Or everybody going along?
Yeah, I'll be going.
I mean, this is probably going to be less intense than Valandra and I's sparring session, but like, yeah, sure, why not?
Sure.
We can continue after we're done here.
So you sort of head out there, maybe expecting a fairly casual encounter. It's just 15 to 20 kobolds. You've seen them before. However, after the first exchange or two of magic, arrows, etc., you realize something a little terrifying. These kobolds are just shrugging off the damage. It's almost impossible how hard you've been hitting them and how few of them have fallen. You hear coming thundering along behind the forces of the military calling out to you, no, you have to be careful, focus. There's something weird about them when that horn blows. And you can see that they must have some amazing amount of endurance bestowed upon them with the sound of that horn. Mord, as you're sort of lining up your next shot and you've kind of adjusted your tactics a little bit so that you're not just trying to sweep through them all in one hit, you hear, Mord, oh god damn it, Morty, they're throwing me at kobolds, Mord, come on, catch me, Mord.
Oh god! And he'll like put his with one hand try to grab Whelm, as I'm assuming he's like flying
Whelm just
towards
whipped by and pegged a kobold and went flying back to the owner's hand. You can see a dwarf sort of charging forward atop his war sheep, and he gets thrown again.
Oh, nice. He's got
Morty, I swear to God, Morty, they're throwing me at kobolds, Morty. These aren't giants, Morty. Catch me, promise me you'll get me back, Morty.
Boy,
Oh
keep going
jeez.
with that.
Oh well.
What happened
So in time, the kobolds are dealt with, and you've gained perhaps a new appreciation for the endurance of these powered-up creatures and what Harry might be capable of if he were to berserk while there. The dwarf who's wielding Whelm looks over towards you and is like, ah. And he looks up at the sky and he's like, ah. And he pulls his hood up over his head and just starts turning and walking back towards the camp on his war sheep.
Sorry, this is so cute.
Yeah, I really like that war sheep.
War sheep.
It's a war sheep. It's what dwarfs do. Why not?
I love.
Hey, if you want to dodge, you gotta go ram.
Oh no.
No.
Oh my god.
So, Chloe.
Well, I've seen that. Wait a minute. I've seen this before, but like, okay. She turns to the hammer. Do you eat dragons too?
No. He just likes killing dragons. It's something I'm gonna have to do someday.
And he's pretty much just gonna be upset with you until you do that.
I mean, he's not. I mean, yeah, he's upset. He's kind of that. I mean, that's just Whelm. He's a dwarven weapon. He's like a dwarf.
Does the
but,
hammer have a beard?
Uh,
Did the hammer have a... Chloe's
I mean,
got
there
an
are
idea. And
there are bearded axes. I can't see why there wouldn't be a bearded hammer.
This is great.
Chloe's gonna make a present for Mord, and Mord doesn't know about it. Okay, thank you.
But no, we recovered him from White Plume Mountain and had to use him for a while. But then we had to turn him in to the rightful owners. But between that and Talace's friend, I think we might be trying to pick up a few of these once this is all taken care of.
So, with the kobold raid dealt with, as you return to your home base, you can see that a number of additional people and supplies have arrived. Several wagons led by younger folk. They seem to have been recruited into this military effort as soon as it was just about okay to do so. As you all sort of filter by them and they filter by you, one of them just kind of looks up and watches you all. Son of a... And he reaches down and he grabs a dirt clod and he just hucks it at Chloe. Worst freaking night of my life because of you. I shit out my eyeballs.
Wait, what?
What?
Sorry?
Yep. You lost me. What?
Yeah, I lost you. Cardiff Roadhouse. You gave me a plate of food and I shit my goddamn eyeballs out.
Oh!
Oh yeah. Oh hey.
Oh, hey!
That's my good
Hey!
friend.
And he's like reaching around trying to find more mud to throw at you. Like,
Okay, you're
yeah,
gonna need to.
hey!
Gonna need to stop that. I mean, that's not in your best interest.
Yeah, I would have liked to be able to stop it, but I couldn't for days.
Look, I mean,
No.
you were the one who ate. I mean, I put more on your plate than you you didn't need to eat that much.
Yeah, he's grabbing another dirt clod. He's like, what's with the wings on your horse? It's not normal.
Okay, you can pick on me all you want. You leave Elmar alone, or you're gonna get the sharp end of this fucking sword. Like, just, I get it. I'm sorry that you pooped your pants a bit there. You know, that wasn't one of my finer moments, but, you know, Elma's completely different and needs to be completely left out of this. And she's like, you know, can we just put this... Oh, God.
Yeah, what were you going to say? What were you going to say?
Let's move on.
In the past.
In the posterior area of our lives.
Yeah.
Look, you know what? I do feel bad for this, but have you been hanging on? Like, is there nothing going on in your life? You've been hanging on to that one time you got really bad food poisoning for like, it's been months?
Everyone, and you brought me a plate, and you.
Well, I mean, you were kind of in my way a little bit. Like, you were being
I
awfully.
was taking care of your horse.
I mean, were you though?
Yes.
I feel like there must have been a reason why. I mean, look, I needed you to go to sleep, and that was the best way to get you to go to sleep. I'm sorry about the shit in your pants thing. I really am. Here, you know what? I got something for you. And she'll reach into her back pocket and pull out one of the pipe weed things. Like, here, it's a peace offering.
I'm gonna eat something that you give me. Yeah, no,
that's
you
not
eat it.
how this works. But
I mean,
You
she's
don't eat that,
not supposed
hun.
to eat it. Did you know that?
I mean, you could eat it, but it might end up real weird.
I like how like all the peanut galleries like you don't eat it.
If you just light this end, or if you want to go see Keka Dane on your own, tell him Chloe sent ya. I'll put a tab, and you can partake of that stuff free of, my tempering with anything, which I haven't yet, or since, since. And she'll be like, but yeah, your clothes look clean now. You look real nice, and not covered in anything questionable.
He goes to like reach for another clod, and like a little kid that's been walking along kind of beside him, leading another horse, like hands him another dirt clod, and the kid chucks it, and then the little kid just starts scrabbling around for more dirt clods to feed to the rapid fire sort of thing. He sets down his little teddy bear and starts picking up more, and the other kid's chucking them at you.
She's just ignoring the child, and she's like, you're teaching him bad things, and she'll get on Elmar and kind of fly over to him and kind of try and intimidate to stop the fucking dirt. Like, it takes forever. Do you know how long it takes to clean armor? Like, just stop. It's okay.
Vegetation.
So like as you come flying over, can I see an intimidation? Is there already an intimidation roll? Can I see an intimidation roll?
There is not, but yes.
Okay, so
Wow.
you fly over, and the kid's like, "Holy shit, Wallace, run!" And he starts taking off. The other kid starts running off in another direction. Like bags of stuff go flying everywhere. It's a pretty big mess.
Well, he makes a mental note to not do that anyway. She was under the tutelage of Dawn. No good ideas ever come. When I partner with Dawn, there was the boat thing. Blew up that boat recently. That wasn't good either. And then we poisoned that wasn't good. And she's just trying to reflect and grow.
Wait,
Yeah.
you blew up the boat?
Well, there was some blasting at the boat, so but this was before they all got fireballed to death.
I'm sorry. Was this the boat we were just on?
No,
I
I
kinda
mean,
spaced out from
yeah,
the
did we
last.
not catch you up on that? Yeah, there was a lot of death there.
Oh,
So much death.
Stuff.
There were some problems.
Yeah.
Oh god, I blacked out again.
So
Crap.
the two children have booked it at this point. They're like, zoom. They abandoned the cart and the horse, and the contents that spilled out into the road and such things. Those of you that look down, you're like, yeah, supplies, fancy armor, hammer, deck of cards.
Oh no. Oh no.
I'm sorry, did you forget his name?
Wait a minute, what?
I'm sorry, did you forget his name?
Oh my god. No, that wasn't that one.
I mean, his name was Wallace. He had a bear, and he could be any age he wanted.
Wait a minute. Wait, which? Wait, where are they now? Where is he now? Where? She immediately is like, the fuck you didn't, and like is looking for him immediately. Like, where are those tiny little fucking footprints? She's just irrational.
Yeah, tiny little footprints lead into a house and not back out again. And searching the house, there's nothing in the house.
God. That was unfair.
Yep.
I totally
the
didn't
other-
catch that at all.
Yep. The other kid's around. He's like hiding from you now. Like you
Oh.
made him shit himself
Oh.
twice.
She
Again.
goes and looks for him as a substitute. Where is he? Where is your little
Where's the-
shitty
what?
friend? Pun
Wallace?
intended. Yes.
God, what? He left. I went left. He went right. That's what you do when you're being chased by a evil, whatever you are on a whatever that is.
Not evil. Not getting into this though. That little guy is evil. Where has he come from? Where does he?
No idea what's happening right now.
Where is that stupid little twerpy fake wizard thing? Where is he?
He's a little kid with a stuffed animal.
Damn it. She's lost the scent. Fucking little asshole. That she's not talking to the kid anymore. She's like walking away, going to pick up all the shit out of the bag. So wait, what?
And you do find in the bag all of the things that the wizard
Rage.
Wallace had taken from you.
That's all I had to do was intimidate him into dropping my shit. God, I would have done that. Oh, for fuck's sake. Rage.
Just the things Chloe lost, or the things both Chloe and Joey lost?
Oh my goodness.
All the things that were lost to the wizard Wallace, which I believe most of it was recovered. The armor was repurchased because he sold that off, but the other things he was returning and saw an opportunity to have a little fun.
Oof. Wait, why? I know there isn't rhyme or reason and you're just trying to tie up loose ends, but why the hell would he come back and return stuff to me? That little turd.
Hey, he left a note with Joey, like no hard feelings, and then you still had hard feelings?
She slow turns to Joey. There was a note?
I don't fucking remember a note. I remember walking naked back to Greenest.
Did you have a piece of paper in your hands by chance?
There was no note. So maybe the other half-orc took the note. Who knows?
That guy.
So
oh,
that guy.
man. Okay, cool. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh?
No, I just mean you gave me everything back.
You got
I
your
wasn't
things back.
expecting to see a certain thing
Deck
back.
of cards?
Yeah.
I mean, the odds have
What?
improved.
Oh,
There are certain cards no longer...
Sell it to Taz. Sell it to Taz. She'll give you a fortune for it.
Oh, man.
Taz likes things.
Sell it to Taz for the horn. Trade it for the horn. We can get the horn from Valhalla back.
Hey, speaking
I mean,
of
she
horns,
seemed pretty attached to the horn.
Yeah.
And like as you're like talking about getting things back, well, if you're talking about giving things back, haven't seen my looking glass in a while. As the governor swings
about
by.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, shame about that, isn't it?
That's a damn shame.
Yep. You have a nice day now.
And he goes on and continues working on things. So at this point, the military forces are arriving and setting up for the assault. And what I'd like everyone to start doing is thinking about any orders or reinforcing or things that they wish to do for the mass battle. You will not be taking part in that directly, but the things you suggest and do may wildly influence the outcomes of it. Among those things, on one of the days, coming slinking into town are Sever Yonti.
Oh, yay! Hey, buddy.
They greetings. We have come to honor our agreements. And along with them, kind of maintaining a distance and shooting stink eyes back and forth, is one of the lizard folk from the Mere of Dead Men, Snapjaw, who you assisted in freeing his people. We've also come to honor our agreements. The military forces, the traditional ones, have arrayed themselves under the direction of the Lord's Alliance and the knights led by Onthor Froom. But the lizard folk and the serpent people look to you for some suggestions, leadership, and placement, as the rest of the folks want nothing to do with them at all,
Come now,
even a little.
weirdos.
Yeah. So there's that. The dragons and the lizard folks sort of regard each other in that, yeah, I know what you are, and you know what I am, so let's not make a big deal of it. We're older than you, say the lizard folk. We live longer than you, say the dragons. I ate your eggs, say the lizard folk. That's cold, say the dragons. So
How
kinda
about we
goes-
don't? How about we all get along here?
Don't say that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
We,
So
we
that's-
draw the line before that.
lots of hurting is happening. Like, okay, all right, guys. Right now, we're all allies. We don't talk about the things that make each other angry at each other. That's what the bad guys want.
So the Yonti have brought a number of prisoners with jobs along with them, and using their magics and calling upon their gods, the prisoners with jobs could be converted to a fairly efficient fighting force at the low cost of their souls. And they,
Prisoners with jobs. Good reference.
and they're like, and when we offered this to the other leaders, they declined. So we wish to make sure you do not wish our help. Actually, they probably say assistance because it's got more S's in it. But there you go.
That's not the only way they can give assistance, right?
So the Yonti are fairly small in number. The most warlike of them are the abominations, which are generally the big, huge, chunky lizard tail, big, burly lizard human upper bodies, lots of arms, lots of swords. And the fastest way to get an abomination is to sacrifice a human. It's like insta-soldier, assuming you're on good terms with the lizard god, or the snake god. The other way is much longer and involved, and involves eggs and growing and age, that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And the Yonti were a fairly small cluster, but because they have a lot of slaves and because they can make an army on demand, they are a threat. But they've honored their agreement with you. They are here. They are in what force they have available to them, but there is a moral cost if you wish that force deployed.
How about we just hold back as a last case,
Like a reserve.
only if things go really really badly, sort of thing.
That's totally fine.
I
Yeah.
hope it doesn't come to that, but if it does come to several of these people, aka battalion of them, for the world, that there's still an easy answer there. I just hope it doesn't.
Okay. So the lizard folk look to Ruqiyo, who's speaking at the moment. They say, "Who shall we look to for the command?"
Oh god damn it. Nope. Look at Joey or Mord.
So at the time of the battle,
Joey or
your strike,
Mord?
your strike team is probably not going to be available to give commands.
Legit.
So who would be in that held back position? So that we have the options that we need to talk to.
So
Says
so
the
there
person
were
that'll be in the back position.
well,
Maybe. I don't know. You're further away. Dawn, that's not a moral comp. Like that, Dawn would just
Well,
be like, now, right now that they're gone out of earshot, now.
yeah. so as a DM, I am expecting all in, including the simulacrum, most likely to go in to the strike team.
Yeah, the
Okay.
simulacrum's
Yep.
coming with us.
So you're looking for an NPC who won't be in the strike team to make the call. Do it now. and you know the 5 dragons. Yeah, no, they're never going to say that. They're never going to say that. Onthar and Leosin are never going to say it.
Nope.
You know, the succubus would
Yeah,
probably be all.
No, she'd say do it now the moment we're out of earshot. So.
Yep.
Which is the same as Dawn.
Which is the same
And
as Dawn.
why is she still here representing her people? Talise has no freaking idea because they're gonna betray us.
She's an observer at this point. And Onthar and Leosin have left, but there's correspondence going back and forth. They've got armies of their own to run. But they're basically saying, look, she is we've checked her out. She and Nim, I think, her associate, are representatives of Thay, the Lich King. We vetted them, and they are here as observers.
And they are super evil.
And they're not the nicest people. But the enemy is probably still my enemy, but he might be useful. And that's sort of where Leosin and Onthar are like, yeah, I don't want them here either. But politics. So
who's left that might make this call?
Who's left that might make this call? Is there anyone that you still have a couple of days left? People could be transported. Is there anyone that you would trust to make this call? Charity?
No. What about our dwarven friend?
Escobar?
He seems like he might.
I'd trust Escobar with that.
Maybe. I think Escobar would be able to make a hard call if he needed to.
Okay. So Escobar is introduced. He's like, snakes.
Be nice. They are our allies.
I see. So if it's all about to go tits up, we send the snakes and their slaves forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're your hill, whatever.
Well.
Hail Hydra, right?
Hail Hydra. That's real good. That is real good.
That's weird.
So like Escobar leans over, like, where were you when they were growing up, and punches you in the shoulder, Mord. Yeah. All right. So he's got that down. Now the lizard folks, Snapjaw, they're like, we don't do what they're doing. We can go fight and kill, but this, and he gestures to where like armies are in sort of like pitched battle formation, like waiting for the other one to attack. He's like, I want to go bite something.
Yeah, we know when the signal to attack goes down, I think that you just do what you know how to do. I think that's easy.
Are the lizard folk very sneaky?
They are fairly sneaky. This is definitely not their territory. It's very dry here and ashy, like it's been scorched, and it's ex-volcano, and on top of that, dragons have been passing overhead, blasting everything to heck. So yes, but this is not ideal terrain for them.
Okay.
Their coloration's not quite right.
They roll around in the ash, like they know to do that sort of thing, but they're used to swamps where they can swim and walk, and there's no swimming here.
No, not so much. Well, if they just want to fight, and we just want someone who we think would, not Leosin, the burly one.
Onthar.
Unthar. Would sending them with Unthar work in their regiment?
So Onthar's like, they don't maintain formation. They don't, like, he's sort of like mounted knights. He's a cavalry person. These are the lizard folk. He's like, they're more shock troops. I don't mind sending them ahead, but the losses will be horrific. And he seems to genuinely feel bad about sending what he considers unarmored savages in to get dragon fried.
Okay, so maybe there's something better.
So, like, with this, what are we dealing with? It's basically just a wide open plains.
It's
in terms
it's
of
a
advancement.
yeah, it's basically wide open plains leading up to and it's basically the mountain / volcano coming up. So it's not wide open plains, but it's the rise to the mountain and then the caldera inside. And everything that used to be coverage has been kobold eaten and dragon blasted. So it's a pretty open stretch of dead man's land. And that's why they kind of need to do an all-out attack distract so that you can get a shot at some of those tunnels.
Do we expect the tunnels themselves to be infested with combatants?
Yes, you do know cultists are constantly moving in and out of those tunnels, and that's the way that you've marked them.
So maybe would it maybe be better to keep them with us and basically send them into the tunnels?
Joey would kind of reflect on that and think, yeah, they should go in the tunnels, and they should not be with us, and they should definitely go in first. And
Okay.
they should go in hard. And they can skirmish and then pull out before they get stuck.
Okay. So
Does
you
that
put
seem
the
like that would work
you put
well
the
with
lizard
our
folk
fighting tactics?
forward as one of the other strike teams to hit one of the other tunnels?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, out
if
of
they,
like,
if they think they'd be good at it.
and fighting out in an open plain is just gonna be a nightmare for them. But in a cave, they probably better suited.
Yep. That they're all in on it. So that handles deployments of the troops that are not obvious. Dragons are, of course, going to dragon up, and the armies are going to march, and you are going to be a strike team. So how much time does everybody have left? Do we have another 20 minutes to half an hour for everybody, or should we wrap it up here? I would like to have an all-in on this one, because there's a couple of things for the next little sequence. So if we can, I would probably chop a little early so we can get Athy in for next week. And on that note, is everybody else good for next week?
I'm good.
Yep.
What is that? The 7th, yeah.
Okay. So then what I would say, let's wrap now. Next week we will basically be kicking off with the all hell breaks loose as the assault begins. So feel free to give a little thought. You do have a few.
Yeah. Or a day or two before that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say. So give a little thought to things that you would do the day before. You do have a pretty good timeline. You've got good surveillance going on, so you know when it's going to be time. Now, when it's going to be time, some problems are going to arise on the battlefield because this is D&D, and therefore there will be problems. And that'll be kind of our lead-in, and then next piece of the segment through is getting across that battlefield and getting into the tunnels and all the complications that will come from there. So thank you all for playing. Thank you for indulging me on the memory lane trips here.
They were amazing.
Yeah. This has probably been one of the best sessions we've had in a long, long time.
You all
How
did
do you guys like
so
RP2?
much stuff. So much stuff. And I apologize, I didn't have as much stuff to reference for the folks that joined us at the
Later.
halfway 2/3 point.
No
Tried to
worries.
make sure we got a little bit of everything. There's a few more hits to come. But I hope you like the pieces I plucked out of there. You will have the opportunity, of course, to get any additional equipment, cast any preparatory spells, Hero's Feast, whatever it happens to be. And if there's anything that you're going to be doing to buff other troops, let me know what those are, and then expend the appropriate slots and such. Questions, comments, concerns before we make a wrap of the evening?
I guess, just a quick question. Dusk
Yeah.
wanted to check on Harry, considering the strengthening effects of the horn.
Sure.
Is he going to be okay?
As long as you let him make a horde for you, and basically it doesn't seem like you've tried to stop him from what he's doing. He's frantic when you leave, but not fantastically bad. And once you're out of sight, he goes back to gathering things. He's definitely stolen people's stuff, but everyone seems to be giving him a little bit of an indulgence at the moment. And if there's something that's super important that gets stolen, they're like, could you get it back from him? He tried to bite me when I did.
Oh, yeah, Dusk will do that.
So
Okay,
like,
so Dusk will probably tell him to just, be safe while she's gone. I guess maybe don't pick any fights with people.
and he's just looking at you with like pure adoration in his eyes, like nodding along. And then like the moment you turn away, he like hisses at someone and takes their shiny thing.
Oh my goodness.
He just
Oh, he feral.
yeah, he's having a hard time. But
Poor thing.
that
Hopefully once we start this all out, he'll be fine.
yeah. And from what you understand, all the kobolds everywhere are acting like this, except most have headed to the mound. All dragonborns are cranky butts right now, and all dragons are like, oh, headache. So that is the effect of the Drakhorn.
Okay.
And yeah.
No, she's just gonna make sure he's okay before
she
goes. But...
he's hanging in as best he's able, given the situation.
Is the Drakhorn something that it might be possible to try and take out ahead of time, or is that like center of their forces, no chance before?
The Drakhorn has been moved to the mount itself. So that was one of the things you were tracking before. You did learn of its origin and potential ways to stop it / destroy it, but the cult has moved it to within the caldera itself. And the dragons are like, yeah, it's right there, and they point to like one spot on the mountain. But it's just a spot on the mountain. You can't see where it is behind the rock face.
Do we maybe want to try and like send the lizard folk through the tunnel in that direction, or?
Sure. So hang on one second. Let me see if I can get to.
Or at least just
this
making sure that there's a squad.
So zoom way out. This is a huge map.
Oh, that is a huge map.
Way out. It's a huge map. And basically, and we'll talk about this kind of as we get into it tomorrow. Here's the caldera. Lava tubes. You can see an entrance here on the northwest side. 1, 2 on the northeast. 3, 4 on the east. 5 southeast. They are saying that the horn is blowing from down in this area, but no cave or tunnel entrance shows. Now this is volcanic rock, so parts of it are porous, parts of it have, small tunnels, but tunnels that a being could enter would be that set.
Okay, so we probably couldn't even find anything, even if we did use like a commune with nature to try to find a tunnel that would lead or would be in that general direction.
Give me commune with nature's wording.
Yeah,
What
give
does
me a
that
sec.
do?
Ba-ba-bum.
Ba-da-ba-da.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. Bow.
Three facts of your choice: terrain, bodies of water, prevalent plants, minerals, animals, undead influence, planes, existence, buildings. And what are you asking or trying to seek the knowledge of? Which cave would lead to that sort of area?
No, just I'm aware that it's more limited, and like I don't think it would get. I feel like that would be pretty finicky. Just like what caves or like where the caves would be on that side of the mountain.
So,
Slash if they exist.
I would say you've got several days, repeated castings, a little bit of scouting, feedback from others, and you would probably say this cave, and this cave connect to a tunnel system on the north west side, so like on that side.
Okay.
Separately, this cave system is on the southeast side, so you would suspect that there are two sets of lava tunnels slash cave systems that probably empty into the same empty space in the caldera. You know, basically you don't have to go up and over the rim and then jump down. They would tunnel through to where the lava slash magma used to be.
Okay.
So you would say sticking with the north slash northwest side would get you to most likely the tunnels that would lead to where the Drakhorn is.
Okay. That is good to know.
Cool. Any other information or comments to make before we break? Hey, look at that picture. Aww.
Just fine if you just try it on. It's temporary.
We got some treasure last time, didn't we?
I did. I picked up treasure. I do not know what it is.
Tons and tons of loot. So you have just next to unlimited funds right now. So anything you want to spend money on that's available for purchase, you have the money for.
Can we get like potions of resistance of all kinds?
Just a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything.
Splash of this, a splash that.
I would say that's probably something you can acquire. Hang on one second.
And Kasey's got to construct a fence somewhere. We're just gonna be.
I'm going through the DMG
I mean,
right
Taz
now.
is right there.
Gonna be dogs without horses here, just running wild in a minute. If you don't like, tell us what our restrictions are.
I love you so much.
Well, so I mean, there is a
horses. It's just wild chaos.
Yeah, no, there's a limit to what you can acquire in a particular time frame. Magic items and potions being magic items have a limit. But I would say let's pick a number. You've got Taz right there, and she likes selling stuff. Let's say 10 potions of choice could be purchased.
I already have potions of fire resistance for everyone.
Okay, so not them.
I think we need acid and lightning for sure.
Sure. And potion of resistance gives resistance to damage for 1 hour. And you can Taz is like, sure, no problem. We'll go get that ordered right up for you. Starting a new delivery service.
I don't suppose we're able to find a scroll of like earthquake or
Do you have a
That-
scroll of wind battle? I'm looking
I'm
for a scroll of
guessing
wind
not.
battle.
Most likely not. No. None of those that aren't feverishly being protected by the people who plan on using them in the upcoming battle.
Okay. It was worth asking.
It's certainly worth asking. But yeah, we'll say
I didn't think so.
10 potions of whichever resistance combination that you would like, and whatever mundane equipment you wish to own. I mean, you basically could just, sign over the deed to a tower and have a lot of gold and black market contacts. The Zentarum are like, just sign the dotted line. Give me the hourglass.
Let me figure out all the cool stuff first. Also, I've been told that this is a bad idea, and that guts are things that should be trusted.
This is a great idea.
This is the best idea.
I love it. I
Have
been
you
told
ever-
This is a bad
I
idea.
love how much of a second thought that was for Ruqiyo.
It's so in character, and I adore it. Like, I have been told this is a bad idea. I had this genius plan. I have been informed it is not genius.
Oh my god, he's turning out so different than we initially wanted him. It's okay.
Just think of it like a reverse mortgage, paid out immediately.
Right. I am going to stop the stream. Tune in next week for all the stupid things that we were able to con Kasey into letting us buy.
Thanks, everybody.